Please welcome to the stage your union president, Matt.
Feel the adrenaline. Feel the adrenaline.
Evening, everyone, and welcome to night one of Question Time for Surrey Decides 2026. It's that time of year again. So throughout tonight, we'll be welcoming your candidates for part-time student officer positions who are looking to bring their manifestos to life over the next academic year. Question Time is the opportunity for you as voters to hear more about the candidates and what they'd like to achieve if they are elected. I'd like to take a moment before we get started to say thank you to all of our student volunteers, including stage crew, Stag TV, and our student chairs. And of course, I'd like to thank all the officers, staff, and candidates who have given so much of their time to this election so far. A few important... Oh, you have applause for them first? Come on. There you go. Well, thank you again to all the volunteers. A few important reminders too for tonight. Firstly, every student helping to make this event happen is doing so of their own time and effort, and I therefore ask you to show them all of your appreciation and respect. Talking from my own experience, it's incredibly daunting to be on this stage for the first time, so please listen to what the candidates have to say and show your appreciation for them after each round of questions. And finally, a reminder that voting in this election will open tomorrow night after Question Time concludes. So don't forget to cast your vote. Our annual voting prize draw returns this year, with each voter being entered into a chance to win. So don't miss out on your chance to shape Surrey life next year and have your say. Additionally, if you are in the room, you'll find some bingo cards on your table, so you can cross them off as the night progresses and redeem them for a prize at the bar. You do not need to call out bingo if you cross them all off. So with all that said, I wish good luck to all of our candidates, and let's get started.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the belonging officer debate, Bella.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Bella. I'll be your chair for this debate. We're about to welcome our candidates for this debate. Before we do, I have one reminder. For everyone's information, we also have other valid candidates today, Abisha, Nafisa, and Benek, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens, but are unable to attend today's question time. Please be aware of these candidates' campaigns and consider them when voting. You can check out all candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Without further ado, let's get started with the debate for belonging officer, and we welcome your candidates.
Please welcome to the stage your candidates for the belonging officer debate.
Okay, we're going to start with our preset question. Before we get stuck into the manifestos, to all candidates, starting with the candidate on my far left, please introduce yourself and why you're running for the role.
Hello, I'm Viha. I'm a first-year aerospace engineering student, and I always believe in the concept that we are one. So belonging isn't about making everyone social in the same way, but it's about creating spaces to every one of you in a way that you like. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Haruya. I'm a first-year international event management student, and I think that belonging is so much more than just a word, same as community. Belonging is something that we should all feel, whether it's up on this stage or as part of the audience like yourselves. I'm running because I want to use the stuff that I learn in events practically to help make Surrey more about community.
So hi everyone, I'm Charlotte. I'm running for Belonging Officer because currently I hold two roles within this uni. I'm the comms assistant for the union and I'm also the development secretary for snow sports. Through these roles, I see the challenges students face day to day to find their place and feel at home within our community. And I want to be the person to make a real difference to that. And whether that's fostering that sense of belonging through events, helping people find like-minded individuals, or just helping them find friends, that's my job and that's what I want to do.
Our first question goes to you, Charlotte. You want to better accommodate commuters, mature learners, and postgraduates. How would you balance creating targeted events for specific groups while still ensuring the Surrey Belonging programme works for all students?
So I will do this by working with the VP community and the current staff members of the union to accommodate these events better. For commuters, that includes being within a uni timetable, so commuter students are less excluded from the events after uni, as well as higher attention being drawn to these events during these hours to make sure they're accessible for people and people know about them. Similarly, for groups such as international students, events cater to our large international community that focus on tourism within the UK and allow these international students to take memories home with them. Linking with these, postgrads and mature students need more events tailored to them. Surveys and feedback about events students would like to see being more student-focused makes the union visible with students rather than just a background force, and so allows all of these communities to have better links to events and finding their place at Surrey.
You propose small and inclusive events like game and snack night. How would you work with the VP community and union staff to ensure these smaller scale initiatives complement rather than compete with the wider Surrey Belonging programme?
Yes, so it's actually an inclusive event where people who like both low energy games as well as high energy games to be in the same room. Along with, they can bring their own snacks, whether they're homemade or whatever that is. And I always, I believe that it is something that will make everyone feel belonged. No one is left out. And that should be done with the VP community as well as the other staff. And it also includes games such as charades, Pictionary, Password, and also low energy games, which include board games, Monopoly, and such. And it will be a bit better that it is something, a developed version of whatever the events that we already have. And for example, the Union Connects and Union Creates. Yes.
Haraya, you promised monthly You Said SSU Did updates. How would you ensure the feedback you gather from commuters and event attendees is accurately represented in union decision-making spaces like zone communities and union forums?
One thing that I found really useful for my own feedback when participating in events is people that are running the events taking feedback straight after. Rather than asking us to fill out a form a week after or a day later, being there with a QR code or a link or something similar means that people are able to give feedback straight away, rather than sort of trying to remember what was going on and fill in the gaps and end up making things up. So I think having the Surrey Students' Union did socials, even if it's just a day to have an event and then after the event have a little social where you just give feedback, I think would be very helpful.
Now this question is for all of you. The Union Student Equity Network run events during their awareness campaigns such as Black History Month and Disability and Neurodiversity Month, all of which aim to build belonging. How do you think you can increase engagement with these events? Can we start with the far left again?
Yes, that's a good question. I think talking to them in person as well as encouraging them about, when you come to these events and when you go, there's some kind of change that happens in your life. It will be the slightest thing, but it will be something great. and I feel that's what I can do.
I think that a lot of events, the planning is much more important than the event itself. I think that marketing is the first way to get people involved, whether that's posters or posting things on Instagram or whatever it is, wherever the most people are going to see it. Marketing is really important. On top of that, I think that asking students what they want to see rather than just doing what has been done before, asking students each year, what is it that you want to see during these diversity weeks, and implementing those instead.
So working within the comms team, I already see the tireless work they do to promote events within the university and union as a whole. So I think through advertising further, which would involve actual outreach for events, stalls in the library, getting people around campus so you see them, because everyone scrolls on social media. How many people on an Instagram story click through and you just click through it? Do you actually take time to pause and have a look? I know I don't. So that effort there needs to be shifted to being in person, going out, campaigning, showing people we've got these events, bringing more awareness to them, and also getting student feedback on what they want. If it's a Black History Month, speak to the Black Sport Collective, see what kind of events they want to have, speak to clubs and societies, try and link up with them, do joint socials with the societies through belonging events to increase participation.
Thank you very much. Now, Haraya, you're a commuting student who balances a lot, from baking society to running a small business. What's one thing about Surrey that's made you personally feel more included on campus?
For me, like you said, Bakesock has been a really big thing. I think that all societies is definitely what makes commuters feel more at home at Surrey. It can be difficult as a commuter to handle a bunch of different things, but being able to still apply for things like this, whereas other unis, commuters aren't always given the same opportunities as people that live on campus. So being able to apply for roles in the student union or to be able to be president of a society, I think is the best way to feel at home.
How would you take this experience and use it to help others have the same experience you did?
Put yourself out there. That's my advice. Before starting uni, I was told the same thing. Put yourself out there because, again, as a commuter, it's harder for people to see you. It's harder for people to know who you are. You can be course rep, you can be part of a society, but if you're not putting yourself out there actively, talking to other people, working with other people, running for bigger roles, it's much harder for people to get to know you.
Abia, you're active across engineering, societies, and student representation. How have you learned to balance your time to make the most of Surrey life?
Well, that's a good one because I always like to, like talk to people and get their opinions on things, and that's why one of the reasons that I became a course representative. And while doing my studies, of course, I can manage that by allocating setting up a timetable to do what I'm supposed to do as a course rep, taking feedback, talking to student cohort through emails as well as in person, and also being a current community zone part-time officer. That too is really important because while it gives me a kind of better experience which I can apply into my own life as an engineering student as well.
With so many students feeling stretched between studies and extracurricular activities, how would you bring that same sense of balance and belonging to other students, Via?
Well, I would always like to encourage students not just do studies, but try to engage in something. It can be a society, or it can be a student representation, or it can be a union officer, and you get a new experience as well as a new sense of actually a sense of belonging, because you deal with different kinds of people when you're in the union as a union officer, or as a course representative, or as just a student.
Charlotte, in your manifesto, you talk about helping students find their place and lifelong friends. Can you share a moment, either through snow sports or your union role, where you saw that sense of belonging really click for someone?
Yeah, absolutely. So this year, through my Snow Sports Rollers Development Sec, I ran the beginner lessons for our snow sports cohort. That involved 24 skiers and 10 snowboarders. Now, a lot of these people were freshers, a lot of them aren't. But watching them all learn together, learn a new skill together, finding their place with each other, you know, building each other up. When someone fell over, they'd pick each other back up. That was amazing to watch, and it was beautiful to see. And they've all integrated into our club. The people who stayed, those who haven't, have gone on and made friends from those lessons and stick with them. And it's beautiful to watch, and it warms your heart as a DevSec to see all of your beginners thriving in life. So.
How would you work with other officers and students to recreate that feeling for more students across campus?
The way I'd work to recreate that feeling is a similar way to how I ran the beginner lessons. So on the way to beginner lessons, they were fun. You have to talk to each other. You're not going to make friends if you don't talk to each other. Similarly, on the way back, everyone was talking to each other about the lessons. It's about making sure people integrate with each other and actually talk and become one unit. So at these events, for example, working with the VP community, bringing people together, getting them talking. For example, one of the cocktail events we had recently, there were lots of different tables, and we all integrated at the belonging event. It wasn't friend groups sat with friend groups. It was everybody sat with everybody, and we got to talking to new people, making new friends, and therefore getting other people to make new friends as well.
Now it's another role-based question for all of you. I will start with our left again. How would you work with the VP community, union staff, and the union's communication team to promote the Surrey Belonging Programme to increase participation in belonging events?
One of the main factors that I believe in is getting feedback in the current belonging events that we have. So that's also one of my manifesto points, where I will be targeting on a 30-second rapid feedback, where I will be, at the end of every belonging event, I will ask 3 particular questions. How satisfied you are with the event you had, and one most important improvement you would like to see, as well as something that you like to see that was already there in this event, and you would like to see that in the next event. So using that feedback, I will evaluate it and talk to the VP community as well as the other relevant union officers, and make sure that they are achieved before the next event.
As I said, I think that marketing and campaigning is incredibly important. Even in this campaign itself, going from seeing people sort of just walk past your posters to then them coming up to you and actually asking you questions about your manifesto, it really shows how important campaigning is. So working with the rest of the team, making sure that we're out there asking people questions, talking to people, showing them pictures of previous events, just making it seem like the most fun it can be, and getting more people to talk to each other about it.
So working within the comms team this year, I make all the reels at events. I already see those reels doing really well and gaining student interest in events. For example, at the start of the year, we had a laser tag event. And a lot of people didn't know that was happening, but after sharing that video, people have gone, why can't we do that again? I want to go to that. I think working with the comms team, VP community, and the staff is really important to make that content and get it out there. As I say, also being out there campaigning, it starts with that content. If that content's not there, nobody's going to know about it. So from that content, you can then campaign, work together. You won't be able to gain feedback without that content either, because people don't know about the events, they can't attend them. Once they've attended them, I'd like to implement something such as the union forum that we already have for the website, where select students come in once a month, talk about what events they'd like to see, what went well, what hasn't gone so well, in-person direct feedback to the staff and the VP community. I think that would work really well, and that gets it out there for people to see, and they see the union as a face rather than just a background force.
Haraya, You've emphasised clear communication and more relaxed, low-pressure social spaces. How would you ensure the students who attend one belonging event continue engaging with the union long-term rather than just a one-off experience?
I think gathering feedback is where that starts, making sure that people are happy with what they've got, and if they aren't happy, taking on their suggestions, especially when it comes to more relaxed events. It can be a little bit more difficult to make sure that everyone stays engaged the whole time. We recently had a commuter event in the front room where there wasn't many of us, and I think a big part of this is because there wasn't enough feedback from previous events. So I think making sure that we get feedback directly from them and using it to improve next time.
Via, you proposed systems like rapid feedback and anonymous Q&A for peer support. With only up to 3 hours per week in this role, how would you prioritise which initiatives to focus on first to ensure they are realistic and sustainable?
Yes, I would like to focus on the verified anonymous Q&A for peer support because, as I said before, that everyone wants to feel belonged and everyone should have a way when it comes to questions related to studies. So this verified anonymous Q&A is to ensure that it is done where even if they had some simple questions that they don't like to ask their relevant lecturers, tutors or their friends, they could just use this website which where it is completely anonymous and a student of their own course can reply to them. And also the second rapid feedback is also, it can be done actually in every belonging event. Mainly I'm targeting on Union Creates and Union Connects, where people meet in the front room or the Harris Bar. And at the end of these events, we can get that 30-second feedback and then implement it into the next events that we'll be having.
Charlotte, you currently work as a communications assistant. How would you use your behind-the-scenes understandings of how union events are marketed and delivered to improve turnout and engagement in the Surrey Belonging programme?
So following on from what I've already said about the reels, people seeing these reels gets people knowing that we hold these events, and that is really important. However, seeing a reel on Instagram is only half the battle, right? As I will reiterate, being out there, campaigning, as I've seen before, having our outreach stalls really, really helps. It gets people out there, it gets people engaged, whether they're there just for the free stuff or they're there to actually see the information. It gets them knowing about it, it gets it out there. And I think that's really important. With that engagement, you can turn that into ticket sales, into people coming to these free events, into attendance, into people bringing their friends as well, causing their friend groups to grow larger and find these like-minded individuals.
Now, our last role-based question. As part of your role, you will gather and share feedback on the Union Surrey Belonging programme. How would you go about collecting that feedback and what would you do with it? Let's start this time with our right.
Fabulous. I think the best ways to gather these feedback, as I've already mentioned, are through a forum once a month, like we do with the website. Currently, the website only SIGs are invited. However, for the union events, I would suggest inviting ticket holders. Invite people who have been to these events, little focus group, all the staff and myself and the VP community. You ask them the questions, feedback, honest feedback, direct, it's there. Similarly, on the day feedback is really important. If there was something you didn't like immediately on the day, you should have a place to voice that. So QR codes at events, the events officers should all be equipped ready to take that feedback. Potentially an email survey could also have been sent out to all of the attendees to make sure that feedback is got as quickly as possible and in the most direct forms as possible.
Similarly to what I mentioned before, a combination of both feedback at the event, after the event, and before the event. Combining these three makes sure that you cover as many students as possible and also focuses on not only the event itself, but were you told enough before the event? Would you like to see more of these after this event? So making sure that feedback comes from in person, comes from online, comes from as many different sources as possible.
So, just like I said before, I will be focusing on the 30-second rapid feedback at the end of every belonging event, where they will say what improvement they would like to see, as well as something that they already experienced that should be in the next events as well. And moreover, I will definitely encourage students to come talk to us in person if they really like to, because that way we will be able to interact more with the students. Yes, that's
Thank you very much, candidates, for all your answers. You've all done brilliantly. With that, we can now conclude tonight's Belonging Officers debate. Please don't forget, we also have more valid candidates, Abisha, Nafisa and Binek, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens, but are unable to attend tonight. Of course, we have also our other 3 candidates here on the ballot as well. Please be aware of all these candidates' campaigns and consider them when voting. You can check out all our candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Thank you all. We'll now be taking a 5-minute break before we get on to our next debate. This means for candidates for education officers, please get ready and head to the election team's desk. We'll see you in 5 minutes for our next debate of education officer. Thank you.
heartbeat racing, my body blazing. I feel the rush, addicted to your touch. Oh, I feel the rush. It's so good, it's so good. I feel the rush, addicted to your touch. Oh, I feel the rush. It's so good, it's so good. So good when we so gravity, so good. It's so good, it's so good. Breathe 1, 2, 3, take all of me. So good. It's so good, it's so good.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the Education Officer Debate, JJ.
That will take the whole lot. You ain't got no backbone. I get out the trap, I ain't got a trap phone. I got P's and M's and K's and O's. They're illiterate.
Hello everyone, my name is Jenny Jackson and I'll be your chair for this debate. For everyone's information, we also have more valid candidates: Aditya, Binod, Chelsea, Liv, Maxwell, Sabrine, Wadi, Basil, Jack, Riyadh, Ayush, Denise and Pavani, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens but are unable to attend question time tonight. Please be aware of these candidates' campaigns and consider them when voting. You can check out all our candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Without further ado, let's get started with the debate for Education Officer.
Please welcome to the stage your candidates for the Education Officer Debate.
Badder than, bad from me born. Where you get your badder from? Thing where me get. Coulda come from Afghanistan. They no want see this cross make me up in me hand. Badder man, you know me vibes can't done. Lyrics them a fire like a bullet from a gun.
Amazing. We're going to start with our preset question before we get stuck into your manifestos. To all candidates, starting with Ishan, please introduce yourself and why you're running for this role.
Hey, my name, I don't know if anyone can hear me right now. Is my voice clear? Brilliant. My name is Ishan, as you can already tell. I'm currently running this year as course representative. So over the past academic year, I've worked closely with my fellow cohorts, as well as individual students to help them ensure that academic concerns are heard. And also to ensure that the feedback loop has been properly closed after their interests are accounted for and taken into consideration. I feel that Education Officer is simply the next step. Thank you.
You next.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Jess and I'm a current biomedical science student, but I'm on placement at the moment. So I've been here since 2022, so I kind of feel like a relic. But I'm running for Education Officer because I don't kind of just talk about change, I actually deliver on it. So I've been a course rep for years, I've been a head rep, I've worked within the Voice Zone as a part-time student staff member kind of thing. And from like securing real academic change to reopening the library to 24 hours, I kind of feel like I'm there when students need it most. So I kind of feel like Education Officer would be a good fit for me.
Hi everyone, I'm Himesh Soni. I'm a commuting student. I study events management, first year. And the reason why I'm running for Education Officer is I feel like there's a lot of things that the university could improve on. Some of the things that I want to focus on are like clear and consistent feedback, the use of AI being ethical in all sorts of courses, because we all know it's inevitable. We're all going to be using it one day. And also just more opportunities like guest speakers, field trips, and just more fun opportunities.
Thank you for your answers, everyone. Jess, which of your manifesto points do you think is the most important to complete and why?
I'm going to go with fair marking and grade transparency because I feel like that impacts everyone at university, no matter what course you're doing. I feel like it's very often that you probably have experienced getting an assignment back and it says 65 and excellent work, but what do I have to improve on? So I feel like it would be good to get more in that aspect. Just ensuring consistency among all courses, all years, and that you know what to expect kind of thing.
Thank you. Ishan, which of your manifesto points do you think will be the hardest to achieve, and how do you plan to achieve it?
Brilliant. That's actually a brilliant question. As of now, I'm unsure. I cannot say for certain. But looking at it from a planning perspective, I believe that. Let me just take a think about this. I would imagine that my first aim, that being helping. Sorry, let me just get it up really quickly. In my manifesto, I stated that enhancing the precision of staff's feedback will be one of my first aims. I believe that actually getting in contact with everyone who is necessary for this process will probably be the most challenging aspect.
Thank you. Himesh, can you tell us about one thing your manifesto will achieve for students?
One thing I really hope to achieve is that students are able to see that AI in assignments and any sort of group projects that you are doing can be used responsibly and ethically. I feel like a lot of people I've noticed are sort of against it. I do understand why there are certain reasons behind it, but I feel like if we are taught how to use it correctly, especially from foundation years and first years, it can really help us a lot.
Thank you. Jess, what strategies would you use to motivate students to participate in the feedback platforms the Voice Zone provides, such as Union Forum, Student Voice Forum, and course reps?
So I would probably go with a similar approach I've used in previous years. So I'd first want to make myself known as a figure where people can come to express their student feedback and things that they want changed. I would probably create a platform and kind of make myself contactable across the university, and I would maybe kind of give some examples of change I've enacted before to kind of like build up trust. Maybe people who are freshers, first years, they might not know who I am, and they might not know the whole feedback process. And I know in previous years, things like Unitude, they're not really very used, and I know lecturers are always trying to increase participation. So I would also kind of want to create like a forum or a dialogue with the lecturers I'm directly involved with, like heads of departments, and what they think would work best for each department, because I think it's a bit different. But definitely kind of researching it a bit first, making sure that I know what needs to be met, and then going for it.
Thank you. Himesh, what strategies would you use to motivate students to participate in the feedback platforms the Voice Zone provides, such as Union Forum, Student Voice Forum, and course reps?
One thing that I've been doing, especially with my cohort, is I've been doing like Google Forms and Microsoft Forms that are quite short and simple, not too long, like that don't go into a lot of detail. Also, incentives are a really good thing. Like if they fill out a form, they might get like an Amazon gift voucher or something. I often notice that incentives can make people give better feedback, so I think that's one thing I would approach with.
Thank you. Ishan, what strategies would you use to motivate students to participate in the feedback platforms the Voice Zone provides, such as Union Forum, Student Voice Forum, and course reps?
Okay, that's a good question. Apologies. In terms of actually helping students understand how feedback can be addressed. So could you repeat the question again?
Absolutely. What strategies would you use to motivate students to participate in the feedback platforms the Voice Zone provides, such as Union Forum, Student Voice Forum, and course representatives?
Brilliant. Okay, thank you. So I believe I can speak on behalf of most course reps and head reps that when it comes to issues like presenting things for Board of Studies meetings, apathy, like the responder apathy is a very difficult thing to get around. One of my ideas includes the idea of helping students understand the perspective of course reps and head reps by making them perform in role plays. Like, for example, if they were course reps, how would they provide feedback, and therefore how would they encourage students to provide feedback? And then from that, they'll be able to understand from the course rep's perspective, or like just perspectives of everyone who's collecting data, they'll be able to understand how much and how meaningful this feedback really is.
Thank you. Himesh, one of the points on your manifesto talks about better access to academic skill support. What do you think is currently missing from this provision, and how would you push for the change?
Currently, in terms of academic skills support, a lot of people that I've noticed are struggling with references, especially coming from like secondary education. It can be quite hard and challenging, and I feel like we do have the workshops running, but not a lot of people are attending. I think one thing that should be really important is within courses themselves and in classes to keep up to date with those. Have your lecturers or your teachers, I want to work with them to say, get on with this, stay on top of this, show the students that you can do it. Also, like if students are willing to volunteer, they can also help each other out. Sometimes it can be a bit harrowing going up to members of staff. So maybe going to someone your own age for help would be a really good thing.
Thank you. Ishan, you have a point on your manifesto about discouraging the use of AI. Given the university's recent announcement offering students access to My Surrey AI, how will you go about achieving this?
That's a good question. So, for this specific issue, I do realize that it doesn't come across very well. So, what I intend to mean is that AI should not be a replacement for critical thinking that we're supposed to develop as students. Helping students with this issue is actually a piece of the puzzle that we're yet to fill, but it's like a multi-step puzzle. One way I want to do it is by promoting a culture of academic integrity. That can be done through, sorry, my brain just frozen, hold on a second. Helping students understand much more clearly about how AI can be used as a tool of learning rather than as a tool of the replacement of critical thinking. That can be through specific seminars where lecturers talk about how to use AI, for example, like how I use it like a dialogic tutor. Instead of actually replacing that critical thinking, I am using it as simply a way to grade and have a track on my progress.
Thank you. Jess, you have a point on your manifesto on 24/7 access to essential study spaces. Which spaces would you like to make 24/7 that isn't already 24/7, and why?
Okay, I would probably say, so currently we've got the library on Stag and I believe, got the Hive space on Manor Park. I would probably want to create more options in terms of maybe, because one of my overall points I want to achieve is better accessibility for all students. So I want to make sure that there's ideally more kind of like ground level spaces that are just easier to access. If I'm thinking across campus, I'd probably want to kind of like evaluate all potential spaces and make like a calculated and researched decision. But I'd probably want to open at least one minimum extra space on both Stag and Manor.
Thank you. Now, we've heard about a lot of different manifesto points tonight from each of our candidates. Starting on my far right, please tell us about a manifesto point from another candidate for education officer that you would like to see implemented if you're elected.
I'd say the extra academic skills being provided would be something I would like to do. I feel like we do, obviously within Freshers Week that I've noticed, it does get shown, but then throughout my time at uni that I've been, it's not been as mentioned as much, so I feel like that's something I would work on, trying to make sure it's there throughout the whole stage, whether even if you're in like third year of uni or something, it should be there just as a quick refresh, not something that should be core focused on, but just something in the background of it.
Thank you. Ishan, I'm sorry, I have this in the incorrect order. Jess, we've heard about a lot of different manifesto points tonight from each of our candidates. Please tell us about a manifesto point from another candidate that you would like to see implemented if you're elected.
I would probably go with one on Himesh's manifesto, which was, I think it was transparency and communication. I just think sometimes, especially when you're a fresher or a first year and you're just starting university, things feel really like otherworldly, and you're missing home. You don't know where lecture rooms are. So you might have a lecture and there's a last minute cancellation kind of thing. I think establishing some kind of forum or expectation where I think there's a lot of expectations on students to maintain good communication with staff, but not vice versa. So I think just that kind of consistency and not double standardy kind of thing would be good. So I respect that point on your manifesto.
Thank you. Ishan, we've heard about a lot of different manifesto points tonight from each of our candidates. Please tell us about a manifesto point from another candidate for education officer that you would like to see implemented if you're elected.
Okay, so I think, now thinking about it, I do have to agree with what Himesh earlier said. When it comes to academic skills, they are not necessarily very well-tuned as like well implemented in a lot of lectures from what I've seen. Again, I'm sorry, I do have to agree with the same things he said. When it comes to academic skills, it almost feels like it's just glinted in your face for just a few seconds out of your university life. And I think if that was more prominent throughout the entire years, all the way up from foundation year all the way up until year 3, it would genuinely be really beneficial for them, for all of us.
Thank you. Starting on my far left, Ishan, that will be you. Please tell us what qualities you'd like to see in your VP voice if you were elected.
Okay. For my VP voice, I think one of my desired outcomes would probably be the helping me with tackling student apathy and responder apathy. When it comes to, I've said this already before, when it comes to trying to help students respond to things like Google Forums, it is an incredibly difficult, it's taking blood out of the stone. It is a very difficult process that needs to be done very delicately. And if I had my dream VP voice would be helping me with those steps.
Thank you. Jess, please tell us what qualities you'd like to see in your VP voice if you're elected.
I'd probably go with receptiveness to collaboration, because I feel like in order for me to do a good job, I need to help my VP voice to do theirs good too. So definitely collaboration, team working kind of thing. And I'd also like to see proactivity in my VP voice. So as it's all well and good kind of saying that these are the things in the manifesto and this is what I'm going to achieve. And I think with that, I'm going to say realism as well. So if they're saying that these are the things they want to achieve in their first semester, I think it would be good to see them take first steps for it sooner rather than later. And also, it kind of ties back to my previous point that I would be more than happy to work with them so that we can both achieve our goals, because ultimately, I think what's at the forefront is just improving student experience and also empowering everyone across the university to have their own voice. And I think if they have kind of positions in the union to look up to, then that can inspire them maybe even in the future for them to apply for the same roles. So yeah.
Thank you. And Himesh, please tell us what qualities you'd like to see in your VP voice if you're elected.
Again, I have to agree with some of the qualities that Jess and Ishan have said. And also, I would like someone who's very calm and collective, because sometimes things can get very chaotic. And someone who's got a measured pace, they're able to set deadlines and timelines, because that's something I like to work with, especially internal deadlines. It just helps me set benchmarks. So if I was to get elected, my dream VP voice, I would like to say someone who's very calm, collective, and can help me get through the chaos, because it can get very chaotic.
Thank you so much. Thank you, candidates, for all of your answers. Well done to all of you, and that concludes tonight's Education Officer debate. I would just like to bring your attention to the other valid candidates once more: Aditya, Binod, Chelsea, Liv, Maxwell, Sabrine, Wadi, Basil, Jack, Riyadh, Ayush, Denise, and Pavani, who will also appear on the ballot when voting opens but are unable to attend question time tonight. Please be aware of their campaigns and consider them when voting. You can check out all our candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Thank you, and we'll now be taking a 5-minute break before we come back to our next debate. Candidates for Equity and Inclusion Officer, please be ready and head to the election team desk. We'll see you all in 5 minutes for our next debate for Equity and Inclusion Officer.
Robert's got a quick hand. He won't look around the room, he won't tell you his plans. Got a rolled cigarette hanging out his mouth. He's the cowboy kid, yeah. Found a 6-shooter gun in his dad's closet, in a box of fun things I don't even know why. But he's coming for you, yeah, he's coming for you. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, outrun my gun. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, faster than my bullet.
So if you think you're better off alone, I think you better come along. Can you make me feel better? This could be a good night, a good time to you, like a good time. Dancing in the moonlight. Now I want you back. Can you make me feel better? Do you think you're better off alone? I think you better come along.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the Equity and Inclusion Officer debate, Dara.
When I look in your eyes.
everyone. My name is Dara Lorian Pear, and I will be your chair for this debate. For everyone's information, we also have another valid candidate, Yi Chung, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens but is unable to attend question time tonight. Please be aware of this candidate's campaign and consider them when voting. You can check out all our candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Without further ado, let's get started with the debate for Equity and Inclusion Officer.
Please welcome to the stage your candidates for the Equity and Inclusion Officer debate.
Wanna be nowhere but here with you now. I wanna be one in this space. I wanna be tangled and wrapped in your cloud. I wanna be close to your face. But tomorrow can wait.
Okay, ready to get started? We're going to get started with our preset question before we get stuck into your manifestos. To all candidates, starting with the candidate on my far left, can you please introduce yourself and why you are running for this role?
Hi, my name is Mark, also known as Marcelo, but usually by Mark. I'm a master's in international relations, and I'm also currently the international subnetwork leader at the Equality Network. And the reason why I'm running is mainly we live in a very dark and dreary time politically and socially. And as the Equality and Inclusion Officer, I want to just make sure that our campus is not only a place where students come to learn, but feel safe and can thrive in, and can grow as a person and not feel persecuted for their beliefs, their identity, or anything really.
Hey everyone, my name's Patrick. I'm a second-year aerospace engineering student, international background. I come from Southeast Asia, from Myanmar. And I'm also the current president of LGBTQ Society. Makes upbringing very different when you're gay from a Asian country. So as for why I'm running for equity and inclusion, being the president of LGBT Society has shown me quite a bit of things, even though from my perspective, coming from a Asian country, it seems like the Western countries are more progressive. They are to a degree, but there are still issues to be fixed here and there. And I've seen that firsthand as the president of the society, and it's just part of the job to continue pushing forward and pushing to make sure everyone, at the end of the day, will be equal among everyone.
So let's get started with manifesto questions. So Mark, how would you plan to expand and develop communication channels between the student body and the student union?
That's a great question. I think one of the things that I've seen the most as the international student rep has been trying to get people to participate or join our events, because I feel like a lot of students are interested in what the student union does, but sometimes they just don't know. So whether that be because they missed emails or because they have not connected with us yet, I feel like there's a lot of avenues where we could get to work on, like specifically mainly in person, because we have a very developed online presence, whether that be through the campaign, through the Surrey Union website. But I feel like in person is one of the most effective ways of getting people to realize, hey, we got these networks that you can join. We got these support areas that you can talk to and get support. Like recently we had a meeting on unemployability, and the students I talked to afterwards were like, this was so great. I didn't know about this. I didn't know that this network existed. And I think it's just really going out and reaching out to people, telling them, hey, we are here for you and we want to connect with you. So mainly being in person is, I think, one of the most effective ways of doing that. So realistically, it'd be going out, putting on posters, being like, hey, these networks exist, we are here for you, and we want to help you make your lives better.
Wonderful. So Patrick, how will you aim to provide support for certain nationalities in need? Can you elaborate on the level of support you plan to provide?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously coming from my background, this is essentially my lived experience, and it's also many of the lived experience from students from certain countries. It is a very sensitive topic to be talking about with how the war is going on right now. And obviously, there are a lot of us students among us that are in need. I will put it bluntly that, especially for me, with the civil war situation back home from my home country, I am in a very privileged position to be able to be here in the UK and at Surrey to study. So it is a very big honor to be here, and even on this stage today. And that essentially goes to show that there are still support to be held, because if I have any missteps with basic supports such as accommodation, which is one of my manifesto point, I might have to step down to discontinue my study and head back to my home country, which is not particularly safe, and I might not be able to return at all for continue my education. And that's a very important topic for certain nationalities such as Burmese students, Palestinian, Ukrainians. And I would say the least that the university could do is provide targeted accommodation support. So in terms of providing support, obviously there's two different things that we will be talking about. One is aid, or like financial aid, material aid, but the other type of support is access. Over here, this is a very simple thing to do that the university could do. It's increasing access for these students that are in need. And that will effectively improve the quality of life for so many students. And by extension, it will improve quality of life for everyone at the university.
Wonderful, thank you so much. Now, a role-based question for each candidate. We're going to start with you, Patrick. In your view, what role does student voice play in shaping EDI policies at the university? Do you think that there are enough opportunities for student-led feedback to directly influence institutional decision-making?
I think this would go into firsthand from what I've experienced as the LGBT Society president. Even just before my tenure started with this academic year, there was an issue where the university decided to implement sex at birth, and they only offer male or female option, which is for the greater population for the students that are queer or LGBTQ. It is obviously, let's just say it's not taken very well, put it simply. And obviously, the university may not have meant that maliciously, and it was an oversight after we went back and forth. And I would say, yes, the university sometimes does overlook student feedback to provide in these policies, which obviously for a policy like that, the university could have consulted the LGBTQ society, or they could have, or if there's other issues related to certain nationalities, they could potentially reach out to those nationality societies at the very least, because societies are a very, very strong way of pushing a message to the university itself, if I have to be honest. Yeah.
Thank you. To you, Mark, the same question. Would you like me to repeat?
Sure.
Okay. In your view, what role does student voice play in shaping EDI policies at the university? Do you think that there are enough opportunities for student-led feedback to directly influence institutional decision-making?
Yeah, I think it's always going to be a challenge. I think in any institution, you're always going to have communication challenges. Patrick presented a great example on the gender stuff. So I think that's one of the things that you have to really consult students before you do anything, because half of the time you don't think you're going to do something bad, and realistically then a certain group or population is targeted by accident. So I think really working with students is important. So I think having those communication avenues open and available, even before these policies are implemented, be like, hey, this is an idea we have. We're putting it out here so that you can see what the students' reactions are before anything is implemented. Another case like that is like with the library being closed, because that was a very unpopular option that really came up to heads recently that was then worked on to reverse. So I think really putting those things, before you really implement any plans, always talk to the student union or the students themselves to see what their opinions are before those policies do get implemented in practice. So yeah.
Great. Thank you so much. So a manifesto question to each candidate. We're going to start with you, Mark. Can you provide more detail about your plan to raise awareness for marginalized students while maintaining inclusion for all groups?
Yes, I think that is a really important question. I think right now our cultural and political society is very not great, really. That's the best way of saying it, where a lot of these communities and groups of people are attacked simply for existing. And I think we need to really protect as many of these people as we can. So I think the university already has a very developed and well-funded program for teachers on how to treat people and how to be, and equality relations and stuff like that. But I think we need to expand it not only just for teachers, but students as well. And more so than just the online course thing that we do at the beginning of the year, which I feel like most students are like, yeah, okay, yeah. I think we need to expand it in a way that students actually want to participate and learn about, whether that be about a culture or a group of people, because I think our campus is so enriched by all the people that we have, so we want to really present them as people and not just an enemy or something that the media likes to portray people as. So I think really just working with students and the campus to be like, hey, people are here that may not be the same as you, but that's what will make this campus so beautiful and so interesting.
Wonderful. To you, Patrick. Your manifesto mentions having targeted support. How would you obtain relevant information to implement targeted support while staying compliant with GDPR regulations?
Yes, so obviously for targeted support, for example, as I was saying earlier about accommodation, for those information, it will have to be compartmentalized and silo within like accommodation team and so on. There has to be like particular students that are working towards that. Maybe at registration at every academic year, there could be an option to offer. It is always an option to offer whether the students want to share those information. So we put the powers in their hand. And obviously for like when you apply for accommodation, maybe there can be a optional drop-down list of your nationalities and so on, so that we could effectively find these students while remaining compliant to the GDPR. And I think there could be a case to be made for as well that, yeah, support like these are going to be a bit tough to make it GDPR compliant, but obviously there's like some that are targeted, and there will be some that are more general, but there can also be general targeted support, like having just a list of resources to help, just like what we have for well-being and so on. Maybe it can be targeted where we reach out to the societies that represents these nationalities and so on, and let them know, hey, we have these available support and so on. Same thing with accommodation. If you need support with that, when you apply for it, maybe you can provide this information and the university will set it out accordingly.
Great, thank you. So a follow-up question to both of you, starting with Mark. In delivering these manifesto goals, how will you work to ensure the union is capturing the voices of students with intersectioning identities and ensure no group is left unheard in equality initiatives?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it's always going to be a challenge. No matter what you do, you're always going to have someone who has a different opinion, but that's not bad. That's good. You want to have these clashing opinions so that you can try to come up with a compromise that everyone can at least benefit from in a way. So I think realistically, you have to have, as I mentioned earlier, you have to have these, before you really put anything in place, you always have to ask the students, hey, how does this sound like? And then you, whether that be through like a board meeting or through like just a call afterwards, you get their opinions. Be like, hey, this is a good idea, or this is a bad aspect of that idea, or this is a terrible idea. Because, you don't want to implement a terrible idea and only realize afterwards. So it's better to be called out beforehand. So I think really just getting the students involved, which is always easier said than done, but I think working with them, not against them, is always the most important aspect. So yeah, so whether that be through a form or just through messages, and then once you implement that policy, you always have to have like a grace period in a way of being like, hey, how is this working out? Is it working out? Is it not? Okay, it's not. Let's go back to the table and work it out again.
Wonderful. Same question to you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Wonderful. In delivering these manifesto goals, how will you work to ensure the union is capturing the voices of students with intersectioning identities and ensure no group is left unheard in equality initiatives?
Yeah, I had the thought about this sometimes earlier last week. I was thinking of maybe, obviously, as I was on my manifesto point, I pointed out how, like, in terms of additional support, like like any ideas that I may not have mentioned on my manifesto, I would implore students of like different race, gender identity, even religion, all of them, to like consult me, or even that I would potentially set up a consultation group with different societies and so on. So we'll have a representative for LGBT society, we'll have some from Christian Union, we'll have some from like the Burmese Society, Ukrainian Abacus, and so on, and just like that. And it will be an optional thing to attend because, as we know, student life is very hectic and not everyone will be able to show up. But having this option for people to express their voice, like the entire group of students, this is how we can effectively capture all the students. And just like what Mark is saying earlier about having different opinion, like obviously, for example, like religious societies might not go very well with LGBT society, but that's why we do need to have those differing views and opinions so that we can talk about this and improve everyone all together while making sure that it's as equitable as possible.
Wonderful, thank you so much. So now it's a role-based question for candidates. The three key pillars of the union student equality networks are to connect students, celebrate diversity, and make a difference. To Mark, could you pick one of the three pillars and share one idea of how you contribute to the goal if elected?
I think that's a good question. I think particularly in sharing culture and diversity is one of those really important things. One of the greatest things that here on campus is that we have so many societies for different cultures and groups, which I think really all have their own spotlight that need to be reflected. I know recently there was, I forget which society it was, but there was events where there's two societies were having basically very similar events, and they only realized it on the last day and then joined up together. So I think one of the important things is getting societies to work with one another and know what they're doing, because a lot of these societies have very similar goals and want to do similar events. And if you get them together and know, hey, this society is interested in doing X, and this society is also interested in doing X, combining them together to make an event such as, what was it? I think there was a event not that long ago about, I think it was a K-pop night, I think, recently, where it was like, yeah, multiple societies were interested in doing an event, and it was getting them together to work. I know Anime Sock and the Gaming Society also work together and run events, and I think expanding that out to almost every society, really, to be like, hey, societies can work together and we can promote them and we want to connect you to these societies so that you know that, hey, we got these events working and we got these, and there's so much culture within these events that we can show off to students, faculty, and basically anyone that wants to participate. So yeah.
Wonderful. So same question, would you like me to repeat?
I think, yeah.
Okay,
So
okay.
the thing with so in terms of the three pillars, I feel like they all go hand in hand. But I would say the main thing is definitely making a difference. I've seen that firsthand. Many of my friends at the uni, probably as my tenure as the LGBT Society president, might have seen how much more tired I got over the academic year. But it is a very honoring moment to have been the society president this year, as I did feel like I did make a difference. And there's been so much things that we have done bigger and better this year. And I do want to let other students of like nationalities, gender identity, for them to have their moments as well and do the same thing, make a difference. It really does empower you and makes you feel like you can improve the university. So obviously, and this also then ties into the connecting the students. So like obviously offering those avenue of channels to provide the feedback, provide the consultation. And that's when if they have an idea, maybe we can also give them the option to execute it. So, and with that, it's going to make them feel that they made a difference at the university.
Wonderful, thank you. So manifesto question to both candidates, starting with Patrick. Your manifesto mentioned advertising on necessary inclusion at union events. How will you utilize the student equality networks to help you advise on improvements to events that go beyond your own personal experience?
Yeah, so obviously even for me as the LGBT Society president, obviously my main perspective has been being an LGBT student at Surrey, but obviously with a very minor role of being like from a minority group, for example, like from my Burmese country and those friends and so on. But obviously there are other perspectives that I haven't been exposed to, right? Like obviously I'm not religious, but I do want to bring the religious society in and so on so that they feel like their voices are heard. And the Student Equality Network will be able to provide that by giving them an option and a pathway to communicate with me if I was the equity and inclusion, and then provide the changes and make the changes necessary for many of the university events so that everyone have their voices heard.
Wonderful, thank you. To you, Mark. What training would you implement or propose to raise awareness for marginalized groups, and how will you track the progress to ensure that the training is successful?
Good question. I think it's hard to measure progress like that, but I think in one ways you have to be able to measure how satisfied some students are. Because, I feel like at the end of the day, if you can make a student's life even just better by just a little bit, I think that is a improvement. So I think whether that be, as Patrick mentioned, there's definitely groups and people that are very much under pressure, whether that be to war at home or other unrelated reasons, that if you can gauge their thoughts and opinions on how they feel, do they feel safe? Do they feel seen? Do they feel heard? So that would, of course, rely on them opting in on the system. But I feel even if you can track the progress of how they feel like throughout the year and be like, hey, how are you feeling? How do you feel seen? Do you feel represented? Do you feel heard? And I think just through working with students like that, you can, at least in a way, just improve their lives just by even a little bit.
Great, thank you. So we have a final question for each candidate. We're running low on time, so I ask that you keep your answers brief, please. What does equity and inclusion mean to you, and how will that meaning guide you if you were elected as Equity and Inclusion Officer? We're going to start with you, Patrick.
So when I heard about this role, I'm actually really glad that it's equity and inclusion and not equality and inclusion, because equity is really what makes the difference. Because this is the same thing like when many people talk about universal basic income, where like, does the billionaire get the same amount of money as someone at the lowest income bracket? So obviously to make it equitable means providing necessary support, and that's why I emphasize targeted support on my manifesto, so that everyone will be on a fair, equal playing ground. That's what real equality for me, I would say is.
Wonderful, thank you. Mark?
Yep. I think Patrick said it really great, actually. but I think really we're such a multicultural group of student body here, that I think really celebrating what we are as this community of students, that we are so many groups of different race, culture, religion, and that we can all be together in harmony. I think that's one of the important things, that being able to proudly show off who you are and not having to repress or hide that, whilst being able to learn about other people, I think is what is really important. And I think that's one of the things with equity and inclusion, where you want people to be seen, you want people to be heard. You don't want them to be afraid of what they are. And I feel like that is really the most important thing, making sure that students feel safe and they feel heard.
Thank you. Thank you so much to the candidates for all your answers. Great job and well done. And this concludes tonight's Equity and Inclusion Officer debate. Please don't forget, we also have another valid candidate, Yi Chung, who will appear on the voting ballot when voting opens, but is unable to attend question time tonight. Please be aware of this candidate's campaign and consider them when voting. You can check out all our candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Thank you, and we'll now be taking a 5-minute break before we come back for our next debate. This means that candidates for Nightlife, please get ready and head to the elections team's office. We'll see you in 5 minutes for our next debate for Nightlife Officer.
You said that we would always be. Without you, I feel lost at sea. Through the darkness, you'd hide with me, like the wind we.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the Nightlife Officer Debate, Ollie.
My name is Ollie, and I'll be the chair for this debate. For everyone's information, we also have another valid candidate, Noor, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens, but is unable to attend question time tonight. Please be aware of this candidate's campaign and consider them when voting. You can check out all our candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Without further ado, let's get started with the debate for the Nightline Officer.
Please welcome to the stage your candidates for the Nightlife Officer Debate.
I got 21 reasons why I
So we're going to start this evening with going through our preset questions before we get stuck into your manifestos. To all candidates, starting with the candidate on my far left, please introduce yourself and why are you running for this role?
Hi everyone, my name is Videsh and you can call me Viru. It's easier for you guys to pronounce. So I'm running for Nightlife Officer because I believe that nightlife shouldn't just be about audience, it should be about creating energy. And that is my main motto. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Raghav. I'm a hospitality student and I'm running for Nightlife Officer because I believe in inclusivity, I believe in creativeness and I believe in unforgettable nights. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Amira Musadik and I'm studying biomedical sciences. I'm a first year international student. I'm from Sri Lanka. I'm running for a Nightlife Officer, not just to host events, and help with organization, but to improve them. I think nightlife is such a huge part of the university experience, and I want to prioritize making memories vibrant, fresh, and exciting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So a manifesto question for each candidate. Firstly, Amira, to my right. You mentioned that you would like to transform nightlife here at Surrey. Can you tell us what you think needs transforming specifically and why?
Okay, for me, the biggest thing is inclusivity. I understand we already have cultural events such as Southeast Asian Night, etc., but I think we should focus on the specific countries. So being from Sri Lanka, there used to be a Sri Lankan society, but it went dormant in 2024. But I think to make up for that, we can have a Sri Lankan night that focuses on our traditions, the type of music we listen to, and I think that exposes all the students at Surrey to how diverse our student body is.
And would you say that because the society went dormant, there was enough demand to fuel a night like that at the university?
Not necessarily. I think there are so many Sri Lankan students. I've met multiple after coming here, and I think as a result, starting the society and also prioritizing those cultural nights, the demand will always be there, it will always be high.
Well, you've kind of answered this question already, but what is one event you'd propose adding to nightlife here at Surrey?
So, as I said, the cultural nights, that's the biggest thing for me, because I'm a first-year student, so when I first came to the UK, I was a bit lost, I couldn't find my community, and I think, again, to reiterate, the cultural nights, they're extremely important and definitely need to be brought to our nightlife here at Surrey.
Thank you very much. And then to Raghav. You talk about a smarter queuing system at Rubik's and major events, and can you explain exactly what you mean by this?
Yeah. So by a smarter queuing system, we all have experienced a longer waiting times at Rubik's, but we can introduce time-slotted entries that could ease up the entry system. We see it at other nightclubs in Guildford, so why not introduce it to Rubik's?
And how would you say this leads to a tangible difference to the regular Rubik's goer?
I feel like when there are time-slotted entries, people are going to be more punctual for their slot, so it's going to be less crowded at times, and it's going to be easier for even for the marshals to control a smaller crowd at time slots.
Thank you very much. And then one to Viresh. You mentioned wanting to enhance communication between patrons, venues, and authorities. As this doesn't provide specifics, could you share with us what this means and how would you achieve this?
One of the new things I wanted to introduce to the nightlife in Surrey is a nightlife pass pilot, which basically is a subscription-based model to increase affordability for students and also give access to people who are ready to enjoy the night, the regular goers. They don't have to pay a lump sum amount. Instead, they pay a short amount in the start. The communication part that I'm talking about would lead to obviously getting to know if people are ready for this new pilot that I'm introducing. I also believe that there is a slight feedback gap that I feel, okay, can I pose a question to you guys? How many of you guys have gone to an event and not felt like it was worth it? Yeah, okay. So that's where the feedback system comes in and the communication amongst the union candidates. And I propose that I would talk to the union about this further. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And now a role-based question for each candidate. Across UK campuses, nightlife participation has evolved after COVID-19. How can the Surrey Students' Union ensure that nightlife offering remains relevant and student-centred, especially for students with different social priorities? We'll start on my right.
Can you come back to me on that question, please?
Of course. Starting on my left then.
No, repeat the question, please.
Yeah, of course. Across UK campuses, nightlife participation has evolved after COVID-19. How can the Surrey Students' Union ensure that nightlife offering remains relevant and student-centred, especially for students with differing social priorities?
Okay, so now this is a good question. Like I said, I'm trying to include all kinds of diversity in this nightlife that we host at Surrey. So it starts mainly with first is feedback. We got to know what the students want. Like, I don't know much about the student nightlife over here because it's only been 2 weeks since I've come to university and I'm standing here right now. But I've been to a single night event over here. And I believe there is something new that people can offer. I come from Malaysia and India. I've been to both these countries. I've partied in both these countries. And I have seen there is I don't know how to put it in a nice way, but there is room for improvement. That's what I believe. Thank you.
I believe that if you want to involve everybody from different social backgrounds and different social preferences, the major thing is feedback. And we should promote more cultural events to involve different people from different traditional backgrounds, different cultural backgrounds. So I feel like, yeah, that's the thing which can improve this.
Thank you very much. And then to my right.
I don't think we ever lost that aspect, the excitement of nightlife after COVID-19. I think everyone was still as excited to go out, to meet their friends. And I see nightlife as a way to let loose, right? Like, it's your break from everything that's going on in your life, from your studies. So to make sure that excitement is there and is there to stay, I think we should ensure broad, respectful, and representative themes and events throughout our semesters.
Thank you very much. Then a manifesto question for each candidate, starting with Raghav. In your manifesto, you mentioned cultural collaboration nights. How would you say that this differs from the current cultural collaborations in Rubik's? So, for example, currently, around a fifth of the events held at Rubik's are in a collaboration with the society.
Yeah, I believe that's correct. Rubik is still collaborating with multiple cultural societies, but I'm also an event manager for Punjabi Society, and we have started promoting more of our culture, and I want to collaborate with other societies as well to promote so that people here can be familiar with traditions all over the world, and especially for international students, it makes them feel like home. So I feel like the events now are not enough, so we can introduce more events on the basis of culture, yeah.
So what does a cultural event mean to you
So it's
specifically?
for us, we like to celebrate our festivals or any traditional event like that. And people here have not even seen or heard about those. So it's a new experience for them as well. And for us, it gives us a vibe for home. So that's more like it.
Thank you very much. On to Viresh then. The union owns and operates Rubik's and Manor Park Social, which compete with local business for student engagement. You say we should support local business, and how do you see this working without being a negative impact on our business?
I believe you're, putting this the wrong way. I'm not gonna lie. So you're saying affecting the local business, promoting local business, but affecting the Surrey business? Is that what you mean?
Well, for example, in town you have the big nightclubs like Labyrinth and Orcs, or now casinos, and then something else after that. But those nightclubs directly compete with the Rubik's business. And how would you say we should support those business while also protecting our own business, Rubik's, for example?
Like I said, the subscription model does incentivize that us, Surrey, does get profitable income, and we will have to collaborate and see Rubik's, the center point in the university. Like, this is the first university I've seen with a club in the university. Okay, so that has to be the main hub. I'm not saying that we gotta go and support all these other clubs outside, but the income part of it, I believe it's not gonna be an issue as long as you can manage your finances well.
Okay, thank you very much. And then on to Amira. You promised better value and elevated nightlife. Where exactly are you finding the additional budget without cutting safety or staffing?
I think safety policy is definitely non-negotiable. Like, I don't think any budget cuts should be made there. However, I think with this role, I can advocate for more student-friendly pricing. For example, I'm not sure if I should be speaking on this, but I know Rubik's is selling buzz balls, 2 for £15, and I know I can get that for £4 or so in my corner store. And I think the profit margin there is extreme, and I highly doubt it's friendly for any of us with already tight budget. So I think there are certain circumstances like so where we can make changes.
And where would you say the union could make up this loss of revenue from this point?
As I mentioned before, more broad representative themes, right? And I think that will bring in more certain people and crowds that don't usually come to our nightlife events, right?
Thank you very much. And now another role-based question for each candidate. How would you ensure events are financially accessible while still maintaining the high standard of events that the union run during the cost of living pressures that students face? Starting in on my left.
Okay, cost of living pressures. So I don't live anywhere close by, so I'm not sure the cost of living pressures that you guys are facing over here. But like I said, the subscription-based nightlife pass that I'm looking to introduce is meant to be budget-friendly to every student in this university. And I believe that this would help students obviously not overcome their pressure of rent or whatnot. That is not a promise I'm promising. But yeah, compared to, the original prices, like you're paying £8 for the ticket, £6 for the ticket. Imagine that in a week. You have 2 events a week. You have 8 events in the whole month. That's £48. Let's say you reduce that, the subscription, you can go to unlimited events that are happening in Rubik's or any collaborated venue we are hosting at. So I believe this is how it helps students.
And how would you say your system of the subscription-based model is different from what existed in my first year, which was the Rubik's Black Card, which is a very similar concept, but it was unfortunately discontinued due to lack of appeal?
Which year are you in right now?
I'm currently in 3rd year,
okay,
so 2 years ago.
2 years ago. Okay, I was not here back then, so I'm not sure about this Black Card as such.
Would you say there was any differences between your scheme and the model that they used there?
I would have to go through that model, first of all, and see how the modeling was priced at, After that, I would be able to come with a appropriate answer,
Thank you very much.
So I feel like to reduce this burden, as I first introduced to like improve better queuing system, I suggested slotted timings. We could do so like we could introduce slotted tickets, and the earlier the entry, the cheaper the ticket. So as other nightclubs do it around in Guildford, I believe Rubik's would also follow that. So that would probably reduce the burden on some students, but not all of it. Yeah.
Thank you very much. On to Amira.
So I think it's all about compromise. Events need to remain financially viable, but students also need to feel like they're getting value. And I feel like this balance comes from collaboration and smart planning. So for example, I think we can introduce bundle deals by collaborating with other societies. So for example, the ticket could include maybe a free drink that is inspired by that night, or for example, maybe buy 3, get 1 half off. Certain deals like that, I feel like that could take off some of that pressure from the students of being able to budget their night.
Thank you very much. And then another manifesto question for each candidate, starting again with Amira. You want to advocate for better drink deals and student-friendly pricing, and how would you go about doing this fact?
I'd start by, first, I think we need feedback. I feel like if we don't clearly know what the problem is or the issue, then how do we know what we're solving, right? So ask the students what their main concern is. Is the price too expensive per drink, or do you want larger sizes? For example, I know we have the pint, and I feel like with that feedback, we take that criticism, we build that foundation, and that's how we improve the quality of our drinks, I'd say. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And then on to Raghu. You mentioned wanting stronger union support for cultural society nightlife events. What is this offering right now, and what would you change about it? So what's happening right now, and what would you do?
I mean, as I said earlier, the union is pretty supportive about the cultural events, but I feel like there's a lack between like all the societies and multiple cultures. So I would like to introduce some kind of collaboration between multiple societies, so that we could like throw events like multicultural events in the uni. So it promotes like more student interactions, and yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And on to Viresh. You have a point in your manifesto on encouraging collaboration between venues to promote diverse events. Could you give us an example of 2 venues you would like to see collaborate, and what would that event look like?
The only few venues I do know over here are Labyrinth, and I've heard Fridays are supposed to be lit over there, and then you have Rubik's. There are Wednesdays are supposed to be like massive. So I believe the collaboration between both of these would be immaculate, like groundbreaking. But what I mean by collaboration is you host a certain event till a certain time over here, and people who come to this event get an after party pass to the event at Labyrinth, or like vice versa.
Yeah. Thank you very much. And then one final role question for each candidate. How would you work with the VP community to create nightlife that contributes to students' sense of belonging? We'll start on my right with Amira.
Again, for me, the most important thing is cultural representation, right? I think each student in this uni needs to know that we have such a diverse student body, and we need to appreciate each and every person for all of their differences, and I think we need to represent that.
Thank you very much. On to Raghu.
So I feel like it's not like VP community plays a huge role in all the events that are happening in the uni, but not just the VP community. I feel like the whole union body. So I feel like we need this support in promoting what I am standing for, and yeah, that's what I feel like. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And on to Viresh.
I'm not gonna lie, I was not sure about what VP community was, but if they are the deciding body that decides the finances and things like that about the nightlife going on.
So the VP community is the sabbatical officer
Okay.
that you would work with to help produce these events.
They're students of the university as well.
They are sabbatical officers, so they work within the union for a year on their job position. which
Okay.
VP Community handles
Not
the commercial
students.
operations. Not students at the time.
Okay, perfect. So discussion is key, feedback is key. You got to talk to them, get your idea into place, see what feedback they give, and go back and forth to come to a conclusion that would be beneficial to both of you guys.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all our candidates for tonight's answers. And that concludes the Nightlife Officer debate. Please do not forget, though, we also have another valid candidate, Noor, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens, but is unable to attend question time tonight. Please be aware of this candidate's campaign and consider them when voting. You can check out all our candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Thank you. We'll be now taking a 5-minute break before we come to our next debate. And
Show me the night. I wanna lose myself. Let the rhythm take control. Release my mind. Let me follow until tomorrow. 'Cause when the night falls over the sun, take me there with you. Far away from the city lights to the distant sound. I feel the shadows hanging over. But wait, now come closer. To come and take me away. And I can feel my heart skip every time that I slip. I wanna run away. Feel the shadows hanging over. But wait, now come closer. To come and take me away. And I can feel my heart skip every time that I slip. I wanna run away.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the Peer Support Officer debate, Dara.
Hello again. My name is Dara Lorian Pear, and I will be your chair for this debate. For everyone's information, we also have more valid candidates, Mike, Shiam, Abby, Lexi, Robin, and Julian, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens, but are unable to attend question night tonight. Please be aware of these candidates' campaign and consider them when voting. You can check out all our candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Without further ado, let's get started with the debate for Peer Support Officer.
Please welcome to the stage your candidates for the Peer Support Officer debate.
No pressure. We're going to start with our preset question before we get stuck into your manifesto. Well, to one candidate. Please introduce yourself and state why you're running for this role.
Hi, can you hear me? Sorry. Yeah? Oh, great. Hi, I'm Kim. I'm a placement year student and an undergrad biomedical science student, and I'm hoping to be your peer support officer next year. During my time at university, I've always felt supported by my well-being officers in my society, and I've also been given the opportunity to listen to student concerns and also support them as well as a committee member of a society and a student ambassador. And I'd like to continue this, doing much more as a peer support officer. Thank you.
Wonderful. We'll now play a video from Robin, who was unable to attend tonight, but has sent a video for us to watch and hear about their campaign.
Hello everyone, my name is Robin and I'm a first year psychology student running for Peer Support Officer. At the start of the academic year, I joined Talk Together as a peer support volunteer. I realised how important it is for students to have a safe space to talk about their problems with someone who they can relate to. Throughout my time as a volunteer, I have formed a multitude of ideas of how to improve peer support services at Surrey. Being elected would ensure that I can take action so every student feels like they are not alone and have someone to turn to. While the reason most people are in university is to learn, we are also at a transformative part of our lives, and investing in our well-being can support our academic and emotional growth. I believe that peer support services play a vital role in supporting well-being holistically, and I have many great ideas to improve them so everyone can benefit. I want every student's voice to be heard. As you are the people who are accessing and volunteering with these services, you deserve the chance to shape them. I think the goal on my manifesto that would be most beneficial for students is inclusivity. At the moment, despite many students statistically needing support, they are not reaching out for it. One big barrier, particularly with the Talk Together service, is the timings and locations of sessions. They are in the evening from 6 to 8, twice a week in the Students' Union. Commuters, carers, parents, those with jobs and or disabilities, and even those who live on Manor Park therefore find these sessions inaccessible. If I am elected, I will propose greater flexibility with session timings and location. I think it would be really beneficial to have daytime sessions and online sessions. The flexibility of a uni timetable means that most volunteers would be able to commit to this, and speaking to many of them, they agree that it is a good idea. Increasing the amount of students accessing services means that we will be able to prioritise other manifesto goals of mine, including training for peer supporters on neurodivergence and issues queer students face, so every student can feel supported in a way that is unique to them. I think students should vote for me because I genuinely care. I want everyone to enjoy their Surrey experience the most they can. Life doesn't always go smoothly, and there will be times that you need a bit of help and support, and that's okay. I want peer support services to be here for you no matter who you are, where you come from, and what you identify as. I also want to understand barriers students face when it comes to volunteering. Currently, there have been periods of time where Nightlife has been unable to offer its services as expected, due to lack of volunteers. This service is essential as it allows students to have an opportunity to talk to someone who understands the stresses of university firsthand, when other services like the Centre of Wellbeing are closed. I want to make a difference to Surrey. Voting for me will help me achieve this goal. Thank you for listening and for your consideration. Vote Robin.
Okay. Manifesto question. Kim, why is it important to you to prioritize helping students find accommodation?
Accommodation has been a problem that accommodation prices have been going up exponentially recently, especially with on-campus accommodations. During my first year, I think it was, for an on-suite accommodation, it was about £180, and now it's about over £200 now. And I think support for housing is quite necessary, especially since financial support becomes necessary over time as well. And I think the best ways I'd recommend pushing for accommodation support is by pushing to better signposting of accommodation services, but also I would also like to initiate a student-led support service for accommodations. Yeah.
I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
How do you plan to distribute this information to upcoming freshers?
Right. So I think Freshers Fair is actually a perfect place to promote accommodation services. There's so many accommodation services available in housing advice in the Student Union website, but I don't think a lot of students are aware that it's there or it's available. And I think especially when you go to the Surrey Hive, you could also find several leaflets about housing supports available as well. Especially in Freshers Fair, I think making sure that there's a stall for housing support is very important. Freshers usually would be coming in fully having an accommodation, but it's really important for them to know that there is space where they could talk about housing support, and if there is ever a case where they need help with accommodations, that there is a place that they could go to.
Great. So a role-based question for you. Yeah. What's one thing you would implement if elected to connect peer support volunteers with elected union representatives to ensure their feedback is heard?
Sorry, could you repeat that question?
No problem. What's one thing you would implement if elected to connect peer support volunteers with elected union representatives to ensure their feedback is heard?
Right. So what I would do is I would make sure that peer support volunteers have a space where they could contact us about feedback, but I think more than anything they need to be able to interact with students and really know, oh, this is what they would like to hear, this is what they would like to improve on and work on, and making sure that there's a space, maybe a form that you could fill out where the feedback is heard and processed. But I think more than anything, students need to know that their feedback is being acted on. So what I would do is I would have our peer support volunteers reach out to students, but also make sure that they know they have a proper way of giving their feedback, and also making sure that they are told when their feedback is being processed and worked on.
Great, wonderful. So back to a manifesto question. You have a vision to promote society collaborations for disability inclusive sports and raise awareness of gender empowerment campaigns. What do you think this will achieve for students?
I think it's quite important to build an environment where every student feels welcome and safe and included. So when it comes to disability sports, I've noticed in the Surrey Sports website there isn't any link or any direct website that promotes disability sports like Boksha, and I think it's very important for students to know that these support services, these sports are available, and you can search it up on Google and it will come up, but I think it's really important for us to meet students halfway and show them that these support services are available, we are thinking about them. And when it comes to disability sports, I think getting clubs and societies to collaborate with them will get students to be more aware that these services exist, these sports services exist. and it'll also get students interacting with them, because I guess like disability sports do feel like another environment that they're not sure about, they're worried. So having students actively interact with sports societies, disability sports societies, would be really great. And when it comes to gender empowerment campaign as well, getting students to understand the gender inclusivity within sports through collaborations will also be a really great way to show students that they are all heard and all included.
Wonderful. So I have a follow-up for you.
Yep.
What incentives will you provide to societies to achieve this?
I think it's also because most societies collaborating with, say, disability sport clubs, I think it will be a great way for them to get more students within their society as well. Collaborating with clubs in general I've noticed at least, do end up promoting your society and getting more members into your society. But it's also a great way to show that your society does think about students, are aware of what students, are aware of student concerns, and can have societies interact with the community and make sure that they are addressing these concerns.
Great. So back to a role-based question. How would you promote student voice opportunities like union forum and union elections to peer support officers who may not usually get involved?
Sorry, could you repeat that again?
No problem. How would you promote student voice opportunities like union forum and union elections to peer support volunteers who may not usually get involved?
I would recommend the advantages of getting involved with union forums and student union campaigns, because the amount of experience you could get from interacting with these forums, it's really great. You could get, I'd promote the skills, the experiences that you could gain from these to the peer support volunteers, and make sure, I think another way to get them involved is also to show time flexible initiatives in these forums. So I think that's a great way to get them involved as well. Yeah.
Great, thank you. So back to a manifesto question. How would you encourage more involvement in peer support services like Talk Together and Welfare Watch?
I think for the most part, I think a lot of students have a hard time going to like volunteering in Talk Together and Welfare Watch because of that worry of, oh, this is going to take up their time, this is not time flexible. And I think it's really great to provide options like online sessions of Talk Together. Yeah, and that will, I think that having online sessions where students could volunteer to be Talk Together, to be part of Talk Together, will be a really great way of including students who don't have that time flexibility. And not only that, again, I would promote the skills you could get. It's communication skills, and I would get students involved through, recommending the impact that they could be making too. With experiences like Welfare Watch, it's such a unique experience. You get to basically go clubbing for free, but you also get to work with a community and deal with issues that unexpected issues. So I think it's a really great experience that I promote what you could get out of it.
Great, thank you. So a role-based question. If asked to deputize for the VP support at a meeting or committee, how would you prepare to represent student feedback confidentiality and professionally?
Right. So I think anonymity is quite important there. I'd present student feedback as an overall instead of individual. Sorry, could you repeat that question too?
Sure, no problem. If asked to deputize for VP support at a meeting or committee, how would you prepare to represent student feedback confidently and professionally?
So what I do is, again, anonymity is very important. I would basically, I would I would communicate with VP support. I would I would communicate the feedback that we receive, and I would go through that with them, and again, anonymity is a big issue. Yeah, sorry.
It's okay. So final question for you. In one sentence, what would your top priority be if elected as peer support officer?
My top priority would be to initiate a student-led housing support service. I think that is a brilliant housing support service available on campus already. I think housing advice team is brilliant when you need confidential and contract-related issues. But when it comes to student-led housing support, I feel as though if there's anything you want to talk about that might be related to the anxieties of going to housing, or maybe any issues with housemates, I think that could be talked to through student experience. There are a lot of students who have experience with housing, so I think they could provide really great advice. And not only that, even move-in advice. So back in my first year, I had a really hard time moving in. So I think advice about where to get your equipment, where to get everything that you need can make that one little step a lot easier. So yeah, I think that will be my main priority.
Great, thank you so much. So thank you to Kim for the in-person questions, and thank you to Robin for providing the video for you to see. And that concludes our debate for peer support officer. For everyone's information, we also have more valid candidates: Mike, Abby, Shiam, Lexi, Robin, and Julian, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens but are unable to attend question time tonight. Please be aware of these candidates' campaign and consider them when voting. You can check out all our candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Thank you. We'll now be taking a 5-minute break before we come back for our next debate. This means that candidates for society's officers, please get ready and head to the elections team's desk. We'll see you in 5 minutes for our next debate for society's officer.
Something about this makes me feel so good, yeah, it feels so good, yeah, it feels so. Something about this makes me feel so good, yeah, it feels so good, yeah, it makes me feel alive. Something about this makes me feel so good, yeah, it feels so good, yeah, it feels so. Something about this makes me feel so good, yeah, it feels so good, yeah, it makes me feel alive. Something about this makes me feel so good, yeah, it feels so good, yeah, it feels so. Something about this makes me feel so good, yeah, it feels so good, yeah, it makes me feel alive.
Robert's got a quick hand. He won't look around the room, he won't tell you his plans. Got a rolled cigarette hanging out his mouth. He's the cowboy kid, yeah. Found a 6-shooter gun in his dad's closet, in a box of fun things. I don't even know why coming for you. Yeah, he's coming for you. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, outrun my gun. All the other kids with the pumped up kicks, you better run, faster than my bullet.
You said that we would always be. Without you, I feel lost at sea. Through the darkness, you'd hide with me. Like the wind, we'd be riding.
Get a wildfire burning, visualize it. I'll give it something to do. Ace high and going all in, visualize it. I'll give it something to do. Spread it like peanut butter jelly. Do it like I owe you some money. Spread it like peanut butter jelly. Do it like I owe you some money. Money, 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 money.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the Society's Officer Debate, Chloe.
Hi everyone, my name is Chloe and I'll be your chair for this Society's Officer Debate. We're about to welcome your candidates. First, for everyone's information, we also have some other valid candidates, Sarah and Sonali, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens, but are unable to attend question time tonight. Please be aware of these candidates' campaigns and consider them when voting. You can check out all our candidates at the Surrey Union website. Without further ado, let's get started with the debate for Society's Officer.
Please welcome to the stage your candidates for the Society's Officer Debate.
Okay, for our first question of the night, can you please introduce yourself and why you're running for this role? Charlotte, can we start with you?
Yeah, that's fine. So hi, I'm Charlotte. I'm a placement student studying computing and IT. And the reason that I'm running for Society's Officer is because when I first joined, I was a bit lost because obviously it's your first time off on your own, and joining societies really shaped my uni experience for the better and made me feel like I belonged. And I feel like every student deserves to have that feeling and not feel like they don't fit in. And I just want to be able to help every student feel like they belong at Surrey.
Do you want to go around, Jaden?
Okay. Do I just speak? Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Jaden. I'm a second-year adult nursing student. And the reason why I'm running for Society's Officer, similar to... Sorry, my love, what's your name again? Charlotte. Similar to Charlotte. Society's played like a very big impact on my journey at Surrey. When I came here, I didn't know anybody. And from just taking a chance and like going to a specific social or like doing something, it's really helped me to find the friends and the community that I really love here at Surrey. And I want every student that comes here to have that experience. So yeah, thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Palak and I'm a second year psychology student. I've been on the Psych Soc for the past 2 years. So I've seen firsthand the rewards and the challenges of running a society. And through that experience, I've realized how important societies are in helping students find their sense of belonging and finding their people. Because personally, I've managed to make amazing friends and create a social circle that I'm really proud of. But I also know how intimidating it can be to get involved, because things like anxiety, fear of going alone, not fitting in can stop you. So I want to make students' journey less daunting by ensuring that there's visible support for nervous students and working with societies to create friendly ways to get involved so no one is put off by taking the first step. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Christy. I am a second year politics and international relations student. I've been very fortunate to spend my last 2 years serving as a SIG at Stag Radio, which has really highlighted the sense of community here at Surrey. Through interviewing different societies, chatting with current and past SIGs at ratifications, and working very closely with the current acting societies chair, who is also the president of Stag Radio, I've witnessed firsthand the wants and needs of all societies, and these are things that I feel passionate I can help deliver on.
Hi everyone, I'm Bruhatika Dev and I'm an international events management student here at Surrey. And why I'm sitting here is just because of the societies, honestly. Why I have found my passion of getting into events industry is because of the societies. And I can see the gaps, what are happening, like basically here at University of Surrey, why it's happening. And I know the gap, I have figured out the problem, why the expected number is not reached, even if the concepts and the events are so good. Being the event assistant of THE Society, Communication and Engagement Officer of Business Society, and Secretary General of Punjabi Society. So yeah, I'm here, thank you.
So, hi everyone, my name is Taras, and you probably know me as the guy who intended to burn the bureaucracy. Being the vice president of Ukraine Society, I've encountered a lot of issues regarding the administration and paperwork. So we were focusing on running events, but we didn't have enough time to focus on running events because we were stuck in administration work. So I believe that I'm running to simplify those processes for other societies, but also preserve the traditions and legacy of Surrey Students' Union. Thank you.
Thank you all for your answers. Brihitika, we'll come to you first for the manifesto question. You suggest that leadership audits will help to ensure society leaders are reliable, punctual and trustworthy. Can you expand on this idea and how you think it might work in practice?
Yeah, sure. So what do I mean by leadership audits is basically creating that sense of environment so that the leaders of every, like the president or the vice presidents or the vice dignitaries of every society needs to know what we are doing actually. I have felt that gap because I feel that the presidents or the vice presidents of the society don't even know what they're doing, what kind of events they're delivering. So I would want specific boot camps or workshops created by us, by the society officers, by the student union, for the presidents and the vice presidents and the higher dignitaries of every society to come together to make them understand the concept of their own society and what is the main motive, why we are here. So that's what my leadership audits says about it.
Okay. Thank you for your answer. Charlotte, on to you. Your manifesto mentions explanatory videos on topics in the Society Handbook. How will these benefit committee members for clubs and societies, and how would you measure their success?
So when I first joined my committee, I literally had no idea what I was doing. It was a bit of a scramble to get organised at first. And I think these videos will be really beneficial because talking to other society like signatories and committee members, it can be really daunting to go up to them because you don't want to seem like a bit of an idiot. And if you don't know other people who are in other societies that you're not involved in, it can feel a bit awkward going up to them and asking them to explain exactly what to do. And sometimes, like, they don't explain it very well because, you know, language barriers or the way they understand something isn't the same as the way you understand something. So these easy to digest videos will just give a quick, like, you can just search it up on the Surrey Union website on your dashboard, because now the Surrey Union has a dashboard for each society, which is a lot more like navigational than it was previously. And just having these like quick how-to videos and a section for each kind of thing, like how to book a room, you know, how to get a sponsorship, how to manage your finances properly. It's just, you know, non-committal. So it like encourages societies to be accountable for, you know, their actions, and makes it easier for people to join committees so they can like actively shape the societies that they're involved in.
Thank you. It's really great to hear from your personal experience. Christy, we're going to come to you. Having had the experience of being a signatory of a society, how do you feel your proposal of regular office hours could have benefited your society?
So the thought of office hours, again, stems from mirroring lecture-style office hours. And I think the whole thing with this role is accessibility. So, again, mirroring lecture-style office hours, it will allow societies to drop in, discuss wants, needs, express opinions, receive guidance, or bring specific matters to the union's attention. This also comes from a statistic in the Pulse survey that said only 26% of students feel that they can influence student union decisions. Now, I've been very fortunate at Stag Radio because, again, our current serving president is the acting society of this chair, and that has given Stag Radio very quick, rapid and up-to-date information, which, with talking with other SIGs of ratifications, has made clear this is not available to all societies. So I think that would, introducing this office hours style would not only benefit societies how Stag Radio has, it would just pave the way for regular and free information.
Yeah, that's a really great answer. Taras, we'll come to you next. In your manifesto, you outline wanting to avoid the isolation of smaller societies. How do you plan to achieve this? And have you got a strategy in mind to help smaller societies integrate with larger ones?
Yeah, I would say we have quite a big number of young professionals, and so we have so many societies. So why don't we just connect them together? What we could do, I see the university as one big community where the societies, they like organizations, and students, they like employees. So what we could do, we could, for example, marketing students, they could help societies with promotion, and economic and finance students, they could help societies with funding system. And for example, THE society that we have, which is tourism, hospitality and events, they could help with booking and just spaces around the campus. So all of this is basically connects students and the societies, which help societies to create more collaborations, but also integrate small societies with bigger societies as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Palak, on to you. You have a point on your manifesto on student voice spaces. Could you let us know which spaces you were referring to and how you would promote them to societies?
So what I mean by that is having communities have a space to go to if they have any questions or any problems, because I don't know if there's such thing as that yet. So what I would say is maybe like taking from your idea, maybe just a certain space like in the Hive or even online where you can set up a meeting with the VP activity or with the societies officer, having a scheduled time to just speak about your problems, and if they have any problems, then they can get the solution for that.
Okay, that's great, thank you. Jayden, your mention on your manifesto about societies sharing best practices between each other in order to be able to learn from each other, have you had any ideas on how you envision this being done? What mechanisms you would recommend societies using?
I guess to make it more streamlined, I guess maybe at the end of the year, we could have like surveys that we send out to societies to say like, what did you think worked for you this year? What do you think didn't work? Which would also be accessible through like our society development plans. And the reason why I thought about this was because like with my society, KISS, I'm part of like a group chat of all the Asian societies, and we like bounce back ideas and like, how do we do this thing on stars? How do we do this thing on stars? So kind of like maybe encouraging the union to create communities of societies that have similar interests, because if they have like similar goals in mind, then they'll maybe have the same issues. So they'll have like ideas on how they can best support each other. Yeah.
Answer, thank you. Moving on to our next general question for all of you. When unions register controversial societies, for example, Cambridge's case of a women-only society having to be recognised despite internal opposition, how should student voice and legal duties on free speech be balanced? Jaden, would we be able to start with you?
I feel like when it comes to controversial societies, I feel like you have to, like you said, you need to find the balance between free speech and harm. So, for example, if it's controversial in the fact where it is, I guess, discriminatory or like exclusionary in a hateful way towards certain groups, then I feel like that essentially shouldn't be allowed. I mean, I'm not the person that would determine that. There will be a body that will vote on that and decide on that. But I guess just finding that balance between, will this society cause harm, or are they just creating a safer space for a specific group of people who are underrepresented and need it? So, yeah.
Thank you. Palak?
So I think that kind of stuff goes probably beyond my role. So I would obviously take it to the VP activity and further on. But if it's something that's, again, like safer and just maybe a little bit controversial, you can put it to election, because at the end it's a student who want to do this and they want to decide. So you can just ask them, and, you know, if that's what they really want, if a lot of people, population wants this, then yeah, why not?
Yeah, definitely. Charlotte?
Yeah, I definitely agree with what these two have said. That you need to find the balance between harm and free speech, and just letting people do what they want to do if it's not actually harming anyone in any tangible way. And I think lots of people lodging complaints against different societies and saying like, oh, I don't like this, and trying to shut it down because it's not something that they necessarily would be into. And you have to find like what is actually harmful and what is just hearsay. And I think a way you could do this is maybe having like some type of audit and sending a survey out to societies like, do you feel represented? Is there any issues coming up in your society? Is anyone, discriminating against you? And maybe having like some type of, with support, you could have like a forum that people can go to and say, oh, this society, I've noticed, they've, done really harmful things, and there would be some type of process to gather evidence and not just shut down societies for the sake of shutting down societies.
Thank you. Rahitika, what's your view on this?
I believe when it comes to controversial societies, as student union, we need to focus on positives and negatives. So everything has its own positives and negatives. So we need to focus on the more positives. We need to make people understand if we feel that it's the right thing, because what is important is important. We need to make other people understand in such a way, as a union, that that yes, this is important and this is why we are doing it. And obviously I really agree with Palak, what she says, because it's for the students, so we can do elections as well. But this is, that's on us, how we are portraying that concept in front of the people. So this is all about marketing, I believe. So, yeah.
Taras, if we come to you next.
I agree with previous point. The previous point was actually very great on focusing on negative and positive. But I believe it's all about the equality, because we have a great platforms existing across the Students' Union that we could use as a debate platform, where based on them, we can run the questionnaires among the students and collect their opinion, and the results, based on the results, again, we can decide whether we agree with this or we don't agree with this. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Christy?
In this scenario, I'd work closely with the VP of Activity, and I'd entrust they'd follow advice from the union legal team if completely necessary. I'd also state that I have full trust in the current ratification system, however could potentially adopt a more rigorous system for societies which could be deemed harmful in any way or exclusive to certain students. In this case as well, if I did feel there was a society becoming more in line with those ways, I'd guide them towards the student handbook, which I plan to introduce if elected, and potentially further introduce a strike system after society has been ratified. So if societies do get past ratification and then start to change their morals, then we can make sure they align with the union and student values.
That's a really great answer, thank you. So we're going back to some manifesto questions. So Brahitika, what do you feel is the intended impact of your proposal to prioritise and incentivise collaborative events?
Okay, so just an example. What do you guys think that we have societies and organizations like UNESCO and UNICEF? Why all the global leaders come together and create such big events? It's just because we know that when when people come together, collaboration is there, and we have wider audience, wider resources, more people to look at and understand our event, the point of view, and everything. So I've always believed in the concept of collaboration over competition. Obviously, competition is important because it's the world. But when it comes to collaboration, people tend to have more ideas and wider thought process and create such kind of events that we can't even believe. Because I have done it. I work in an organization called ISEC. It's an international organization, and it's all over the world. I know they come together, we do conferences together, and we build up such great ideas. And that was also one of my points in leadership audits, why it came up. So I truly believe that collaboration is very important, and then competition.
It's great to hear from your personal experience. Charlotte, in your experience with the student union, have you noticed any accessibility challenges that inspired you to propose an accessibility event checklist?
Yes. So for some events, there's some people I've noticed for events, they've come along and they realise, oh, I can't join this. And, it's sad that there's like physical bars and barriers from letting people join events. And I think an accessibility checklist just makes it really easy for societies to think, just consciously look at themselves and think, oh, we need to make these events more accessible for everyone. And the checklist just makes it easy for people to make the society welcoming for everyone, and accessibility should not feel like a chore. So this will just help incentivize more societies to take that extra step and welcome all students to their events.
Yeah, it's definitely such an important point to consider. Thank you. Christy, your manifesto discusses introducing a society handbook to help new societies. How will this differ from the existing society handbook, and would current committees be involved in the building of this handbook?
Yeah, so the current society handbook, to begin with, I feel has a kind of a vagueness about it. It's quite universal, it's quite generic. And again, I'm going to refer to the Pulse survey again because I love statistic. But it's that apparently 49% of students agree that the student union play an active role in developing student communities. I feel if the current society handbook was up to date, that would be a much higher number. Again, it would be a collaborative approach, bringing in SIGs and any other elected officials from societies. And it would include everything that the society needs to know, from booking venues, requesting greater funding, planning an EGM, and especially things like STARS. STARS is a great award system, and it really shows the achievements of all societies, yet I feel it's quite exclusive in some ways. And there's a lot of work to put into it, a lot of blogging hours, which a lot of societies aren't aware of, and therefore a lot of societies miss out on such good achievements.
Yeah, I definitely feel that's a point that people involved in societies can definitely empathise with. Moving on to Jayden, you've said on your manifesto that you want to introduce more timely notifications about society standings, funding and key deadlines. How would you go about improving communication on these things?
I feel like it's just a thing about, collaboration within the zone, and then just being organized together. I mean, we already have our Teams channel, we have our emails and stuff. So I guess it's properly being briefed a lot better at the beginning of the year. And then I guess kind of making it, how do I say this? I guess making it forgivable for attendance to not be made if announcements are made late. And then also about key deadlines. I feel like when it comes to kind of like what was mentioned earlier about approaching stars, I feel like there's not a lot of clarity when it comes to a lot of like specific things that societies need to achieve to reach stars. And this is coming from someone that's been on the signatory role for 2 years now. So I feel like we just need to make things clearer, whether that's through like the videos that were suggested by Charlotte, or whether it's just by having like more comprehensive signatory trainings. Yeah, so.
That's a great answer, thank you. Therese, can you explain what vision boards are, and how would you ensure that this is something which societies would be excited to get engaged with, and which they'll ultimately benefit from?
Yeah, so I believe that the vision boards is the event where the students come to share their inspiration for the upcoming year. And I think what we could do, we can run it, instead of running it once a year, for example, we could run it like every 4 or 5 months. And that's the place where societies can come along, they can share their feedback, their progress so far. And also that's a great communication with the student union, because there always will be the volunteers, there will always be people to help and listen to you. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. And finally, Palak, you have a point on more support and introduction for the wellbeing champions within societies. What's wrong with how the program works at the moment?
So I think the wellbeing champions aren't really seen as much right now, or the students who come join the societies, I don't think they know who they are or what they do. So I want to make sure that they're promoted really well, because then students know who they can talk to and they can reach out for support, because well-being obviously is really important. And maybe more training for the well-being champions so they know how they can handle any situation throughout any event.
Yeah, that's a great answer, thank you. The second general question, so for everyone, there's a clear link between participation in society's personal development and academic success. How would you use your role as society's officer to promote these benefits to students? Should we start from this side? So, Therese, can we start with you?
Oh yeah, sorry, can you just repeat the...
Yeah, of course. There's a clear link between participation in society's personal development and academic success. How would you use your role as a society's officer to promote these benefits to students?
Yeah, so I believe we have a great range of already existing tools within the society union, such as a support zone, for example, or talk together, and they lacking the information regarding society's issues. So what we could do, we can run the questionnaire, because I know that a lot of societies, they face the same issues so it will be very simple. So we run the questionnaire among the societies, raise their concerns, we raise their issues, and what we could do, we all collect it, put it in a guideline, for example, which will be accessible on all the platforms, as well as support zone and talk together. And all this information, based on all this information, the new societies, they can learn from previous societies. So again, that's an opportunity for them to maybe find the points to touch on, I would say, to collaborate something. So yeah.
Thank you. Charlotte, would we be able to get your opinion on this?
Yes. So I think one way we would be able to increase this and get benefits would be maybe including it as a area in STARS, so that incentivizes societies to get involved. So maybe saying that, oh, if you do one, personal development session, or, host a study session, because I know a lot of societies casually throw together study sessions for members to get together, maybe have a coffee, do coursework together, study, and if you offer a reward for it, societies are more likely to put these events together. And when you collaborate with other people in these sessions for studying, I think personally for me, studying with other people, getting their input, and just having that sense of community when studying makes it feel less daunting, and can relax you a bit. So by putting this as a reward, it incentivizes societies to help develop their own members.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. Palak, can we come to you?
So obviously societies is a great place for personal development, but I say we start telling this at Freshers Fair. So saying right at the beginning, these are societies and these are the ways that it can benefit you. for example, and like there's different societies, like there's core societies and there's sports societies, and they help develop with like these different roles. Like PsychSoc holds study sessions on Wednesdays, or they used to, and that was good for academic achievement. But I also say that we should promote this online. Maybe on every society's bio, you should be like, oh, we do this, and this will help you to improve in this way. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you for your answer. Jaden?
I feel like the way that we can promote these benefits to students would kind of just be doing like what we're doing now, sharing our own personal like testimonials about being in societies, whether that's in person at Freshers Fair or through social media. Like for example, when I started at uni, I was like very, very, very shy. And by like going to my society, KISS, which I'm now president of, which is crazy, it allowed me to develop like confidence and just that comfort in being able to speak to other people. And those skills I got from just passively joining a society then transferred into like how I do nursing now. I'm able to communicate with my patients. So just being able to like get people to be willing to articulate their stories and share will help like promote and encourage other students to join societies, I think.
Yeah, thank you for your answer. Christy?
Grand, sorry. I got lost there. I would adopt an approach with, which I think is actually quite similar to one of Charlotte's manifesto points, which I really did like, which was society passports. I think that would be a great way to boost participation in societies, as only 43% of students currently at Surrey feel satisfied with their current social experience, which I wouldn't personally agree with. I think that's rather low, but stats speak for themselves, I guess. I would also utilise the society newsletter, which I plan to introduce, which I'd work alongside Stag magazine with. I've been fortunate to work along with them, aside them currently as part of Stag Media. And I'd also incorporate any other students, as I think that would produce a great chance to network and grow personal development. It would also give students just a taste of different societies we have. In terms of academic success, I'd prioritise that there was a fair and beneficial way to promote success. Maybe potentially introduce a new category to STARS or a system of similar to that. And I'd further just let students know that they have no commitment to societies. It's perfectly fine to attend a society, to attend an event, not like it, not enjoy it, want to call it an early night, and I think we need to push that there's just no commitment needed at all.
Yeah, definitely. That's really great. And finally, Brahitika?
Yeah, so I 100% believe that participating in the societies lead to your personal development and academic development as well. I had this concept of try and decide. I was trying to introduce into one of my societies that I'm currently being a part of, but I was not able to do it. So this concept is basically called try and decide. It's called organizing committee and volunteering committee, where you are not the part of the society, but still you can be a part of the organizing team or the volunteering team of that particular society. So you know how that society works. So you know what kind of people are there present in the society, what are their main motives, and how do they, how do they look at multiple things in diverse way. In that way, you can actually be a part of the society, and then you can, understand that concept of if you want to continue being a part of that one. And I always say it's never about the destination, it's always about the journey. So, being people who are already a part of society, the good signatories, they should record a personalized message on their own accounts or through student union and try to spread around so that people know that, yes, it has added something to their journey. And I believe these are the two good solutions that we can, work on.
Yes, thank you. Moving on to our final question for everyone. In 30 seconds, can you tell us why students should vote for you? Jaden, should we start with you?
I think students should vote for me because I really do care about your university experience, and I feel like joining societies will be valuable to that and help you find meaningful connection, as I feel everybody should while they're at uni. And also just based on my experiences joining a society, and that really added to the fullness of me being here. And then also just my general society commitments, I feel make me qualified. So please vote for me, guys. Thank you.
Palak?
So if you have read or are going to read my manifesto, my focus isn't big, flashy changes, but small, practical improvements that could make a real difference. So I'm running because I want societies to be welcoming, supported, and representative of all students. Vote for me. Thank you.
Christy.
30 seconds is a lot more daunting with that clock behind you. I think to vote for me, really, because my main approach is to really kind of flip the way the society is run. At the moment, there's a real top-down approach, which, of course, is understandable from VP activity down, but I really think that should be that should be a bottom-up approach. I think it should be societies that kind of dictate what the union do, the lead the VP of activity takes, and as well the lead of the society officer. And I will really put society's vocal point. So vote for me. I also make great signs on Canva if anyone needs that. But
Ritika.
Why do you vote for me is because I don't want static. I don't like static things. I like dynamic things. I want marketing everywhere. I want people to see that, yes, the societies of University of Surrey are worth it. And I've seen the potential in the people who are already part of the society. I can see them working so hard. But the only gap is the way we are delivering stuff, the way we are promoting it. And I saw the gap, and here I am. And I think I can fill it. So please vote for me, guys. Thank you.
Thanks. Taras?
Yeah, I think you should vote for me because I generally do care about societies, and I believe the societies, they're one of the central pillars of university life. My approach is not about creating something new, it's about improving what we already have. So existing tools within the Surrey Union, I think that's what we should focus on, because then we get overloaded with creating something new, and that's just going to be too long. So again, less paperwork, more societies. So yeah, vote for me.
Charlotte?
So I think students should vote for me because I feel like I'm quite an approachable person, and communication-wise, I think I would be quite good at being transparent on what I'm doing and not just telling students, oh, this is what's happening, end of story. And and drawing back on my feedback of being on multiple societies, I know the struggles that societies are going through, and especially you go to society standings and you think, oh, this is what's happening. Oh, I'm in a bit of trouble right now. And in general, I think, like everyone else has said, I generally do care about societies, making the most out of what they have and making every student's experience at Surrey the best that it can be.
Thank you so much. That concludes the debate for Societies Officer. Very well done to all candidates. You've given some amazing answers. Thank you.
What happens when someone uses report and support for unwanted or concerning behaviour? Step 1. The support pages include lots of information, advice and signposting to internal and external support services. The person is asked whether they would like to report anonymously or with contact details. Option A. Report anonymously. If the report is very serious, it may be forwarded to relevant parties. But without being able to follow up with the person making the report, there will be limits to what the university can do in response. Anonymous reports provide statistical information, which is used to inform proactive and preventative work. Option B. Report with contact details. This means someone at the university can respond and, if required, take appropriate action. The information contained in the report will only be passed to relevant persons on a strictly need-to-know basis. Step 2. The report is triaged by one of the report and support coordinators. The person submitting the report will normally receive a response within 3 university working days. They are also advised how to receive emergency assistance from the security team. Step 3. The next actions and the time frame will depend on the type of behaviour and the information provided in the report. Some reports will be resolved quickly after some initial inquiries. Most reports will be assigned to an appropriate member of staff, depending on the content of the report. Some reports will result in no further action due to a lack of information. Step 4. Some reports can be resolved informally, where appropriate, through dialogue between the reporting and the responding person, or by other action being taken by the member of staff who has been assigned the report. Other reports result in a referral to internal and/or external support services and, In extremely rare cases, the report may be referred to the police. Step 5. Some reports require formal investigation. The investigator will contact the person who has made the report to discuss what will happen next and to answer any questions. Step 6. The investigator will make enquiries and gather evidence, normally by interviewing people. Once the investigation is complete, further action may be taken, if this is deemed appropriate. For example, through the university's disciplinary procedures. Wherever possible, the outcome of the investigation is reported back to the person who made the report. It is also recorded by the report and support coordinators and is included in anonymous statistics published annually by the university. Abuse, bullying, harassment, hate crime, and sexual misconduct are never okay. Whether you're a student, member of staff, or visitor to our campus and you want to report something, visit reportandsupport.surrey.ac.uk.
Show me the night. I wanna lose myself. Let the rhythm take control. Release my mind. Let me follow until tomorrow. 'Cause when the night falls over the sun, take me there with you. Far away from the city lights to the distant sound. So if you think you're better off alone, I think you better come along. Can you make me feel better? This could be a good night, a good time to you look like a good time. Dancing to dancing in the moonlight. Now I want you back. Can you make me feel better? Do you think you're better off alone? I think you better come along.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the Team Surrey Officer Debate, Chloe.
Everyone, hi, my name is Chloe and I'll be your chair for the Team Surrey Officer. For everyone's information, we also have some other valid candidates, Sanya and Tazim, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens but are unable to attend question time tonight. Please be aware of their campaigns, and consider them when voting. You can check out all of our candidates at the Surrey Union website. Without further ado, let's get started with the debate for Team Surrey Officer.
Please welcome to the stage your candidates for the Team Surrey Officer debate.
Okay, so our first preset question, we're going to start to get stuck into your manifestos. To all candidates, starting with the candidate on my left, please introduce yourself and why you are running for this role.
Sure. I'm Adam. I'm a second-year computer science student and currently the chairman of the lacrosse club. I'm running for Team Surrey Officer because I've seen firsthand in my role on the signatories that Team Surrey has both its good sides and its downsides, and I want to use my experiences to help all students at the university benefit from Team Surrey and the union more than they are currently.
Yeah, thank you. And Jess.
Hi everyone, I'm Jess. I'm a sports and exercise science student. I'm currently on a placement year at school. I've been basketball president for 2 years now, swimming social, sec and course rep. So I've experienced Team Surrey from multiple perspectives as an athlete, committee member and a student voice representative. I'm running for Team Surrey chair because sport at Surrey is more than competition. It's belonging, leadership and community. But I've also seen the pressures that clubs face. There's communications gaps, funding confusions and committees feeling overwhelmed. I want clubs to feel supported to thrive.
Thank you. Our first manifesto question. Adam, you propose fairer and more consistent transport budgets. How would you determine what fair and proportional looks like across clubs with very different needs and competition levels?
Sure. I think the key point about the transport in my manifesto was more of it, which I know is being actively worked on by the union and the university, as well as Team Surrey and the sports park, but also ensuring and looking at all of the clubs and just making sure that it is split fairly towards the small and medium-sized clubs in Team Surrey, rather than not a large portion of it going to the 2 or 3 really large clubs, and just making sure that everyone has equal access to transport.
Yeah, thank you. Jess, you highlight that you've seen the challenges clubs face behind the scenes. What do you think is the biggest structural challenge currently facing sports clubs, and how would you address it as a chair?
I think that it's really difficult when when you hand over to a new committee and there's a lot of confusion and you're doing your exams and all of that. There's just a lot of stress. So I think by making sure the club handover is sort of outlined a lot clearer and we can help them with like templates and identifying your roles. So each role, they know what they're doing before they're getting into it. And maybe potentially having that training a little bit earlier so then they've got the summer to prepare themselves.
Yeah, that's a really great answer, thank you. Our first role-based question for both of you. Which point on your manifesto do you think will be the hardest to achieve? And what will you do to work on it if you're successfully elected? Jess, should we come to you first?
Yeah. I think that the point on my manifesto that'll be most difficult is probably the more recognition and more opportunity. I would like to simplify the stars and colours processes, so to help encourage clubs to achieve them, but when it comes around to actually submitting your applications for that, it's a lot and you've got to write essays on all your members that you think deserve, and there's so many members that you believe like deserve these awards but you just can't do it. So I think helping with that, but obviously it's a set structure and it's been like that for a while, so I think changing that will be difficult, but hopefully by showing them my point of view as being a president for 2 years, I know how stressful it can be. Hopefully I can show Team Surrey that there's maybe an easier way we can do that.
Yeah, definitely. It's great to hear from like personal experience. Adam,
Yeah, sure. I think collaboration would be my hardest point to achieve between clubs and societies, and letting more people access the sports that wouldn't have otherwise. And I think this is going to be hard simply because clubs and societies don't want to do stuff outside of their comfort zone. But I think one way to achieve this would be to help fund any events that would collaborate and would encourage more people to join sport. This would mean that clubs wouldn't need to spend money in order to collaborate with societies. That could come out of our budget instead, and therefore more of these events would be likely to happen.
that's a really great idea. Thank you. The next manifesto question: as chair of lacrosse, how would you ensure you represent smaller or less established clubs just as strongly as larger ones?
Sure, I think making sure that there's transparency between Team Surrey and each club, and making sure that Team Surrey spend time with the smaller clubs, even though they bring in less revenue and less, worse results in bucks, but making sure that they spend just as much time as them, nurturing them and trying to get them into these bigger clubs. There's no reason why a small or medium club can't transition into a big club. Lacrosse has doubled its memberships in the last year, and so I feel like I'm very good at improving these clubs and making sure that they can go from small and medium to a bigger club, and I want to help more clubs do that.
Yeah, that's really great to hear. Thank you. Jess, if you were selected, how would you measure whether students genuinely feel a strong sense of belonging within Team Surrey?
Through using discussion spaces at club standings. So my aim is to hopefully get club standings and societies back to separate ones, just because I feel the discussion this year has been lost and we can't, people aren't listening because there's just too many people in the room. So I personally think they should be separated. At those standings, we can put out Microsoft forms and get real feedback and make sure that's acted upon, and get committee members to send that out to their club members to complete as well, so we can constantly monitor whether people feel like they are belonging to their club and are happy with the way it is.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some really great points. So the next role-based question. Part of your role as Team Surrey officer would be making sure that feedback from club members is heard across the union. How would each of you encourage participation with student voice opportunities like union forum or union elections? Jess? Would you like to hear the question again?
Yes, please.
Yes. Part of your role as Team Surrey officer would be making sure that feedback from club members is heard across the union. How would each of you encourage participation with student voice opportunities like union forum or union elections?
Working closely with Team Surrey, they obviously have their Surrey moves, and when we're wanting feedback, it's really difficult to get members to do that. So hopefully by promoting the points you can get on Surrey moves that go towards actual things and all of that, then that should hopefully improve participation in the collecting student feedback. And similar at club standings and all that, we can show who's participated the most and maybe offer some tangible awards for that to improve participation.
Yeah, definitely. Those are some really great ideas. Adam?
Yeah, I think regular feedback from students, committee members, members of clubs is great to have for Team Surrey, so they can make sure that they're doing things that the students want, not what they think the students want, and make sure that the students are represented. To do this, Microsoft Forms or regular user groups or sessions where committee can get together with members of Team Surrey, with VP activity, with myself or the Team Surrey chair, and then say what their issues are or say what's went well in the last month and making sure they're regular.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, thank you. So next manifesto question to Jess. You say in your manifesto that sport at Surrey must be for everyone. Who is Team Surrey currently not working well for? And what's a practical step you'd take to ensure Team Surrey works for everyone?
I've tried for both years as president to implement wheelchair basketball, and it's been really difficult, and I think that's where the gap is with making it accessible for disabled students. I think there's not enough sports that offer the opportunity there. I know they're starting to do wheelchair tennis, which is really great, but I think it needs to be spread across more clubs. Also offering more like para sports as well. I think we could definitely do that here. So I think that's where the gap is, and that's hopefully what I would like to aim to do as Team Surrey Chair.
Yeah, that's a really great point, as accessibility is so important. Thank you. Adam, you say you'd like to see more transparency from Team Surrey. How do you see your role as Team Surrey officer enabling you to make this happen?
Sure, I think my role as Team Surrey officer would allow me to create regular anonymous feedback forms for committee members to fill out, and then be in the position to send these to members of Team Surrey or workers at Team Surrey and show them what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, and how they can improve on things that they are doing. Again, ensuring that they're doing what students want instead of what they think the students want. And just ensuring that Team Surrey are responding in a timely manner to queries, whatever the club and whichever club is asking them any questions, rather than them, again, focusing on the larger clubs.
Yeah, thank you. In one sentence, why should students vote for you? Jess?
I like to get involved. I've tried to get involved as much as I can whilst here, so I think that shows I'm willing to show up and help others get involved. I think that's one sentence.
Thank you. Adam?
I think that I have had the experience to know what members and committee members want from Team Surrey, and therefore I'm in a good position to speak to Team Surrey on behalf of the students.
Thank you so much. Thank you, candidates, for all your answers. That concludes tonight's Team Surrey Officer debate. For everyone's information, we also have another valid candidate, Sanya and Tazim, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens, but are unable to attend question time tonight. Please be aware of those candidates' campaigns and consider them when you're voting. You can check out all candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Thank you. We will be now taking a 5-minute break before we come back for our last debate of the night. This means that candidates for Wellbeing Officer, please get ready and head to the election team's desk. We will see you all in 5 minutes for our next debate, Wellbeing Officer.
Feel the shadows hanging over, but wait, now come closer. To come and take me away, and I can feel my heart skip every time that I slip. I wanna run away.
9 reasons to vote.
I care about the future of Surrey.
I know someone perfect for the role.
I believe in Surrey students.
I want to have my say.
I think things can improve.
I have a favourite candidate.
I have made my decisions.
I'm ready for change.
To make Surrey great again. Everybody says so. Everybody's talking about it.
Please welcome to the stage your chair for the Wellbeing Officer debate, Angel.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Angel, and I will be your chair for this debate for Wellbeing Officer. In a moment, we'll welcome your candidates for this debate. For everyone's information, we also have more valid candidates who are Molly, Chris, Chloe, Julia, Amar, Tashu, Zoe, and Ella, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens, but are unable to attend the question time tonight. Please be aware of these candidates' campaign and consider them when you vote. You can check out all our candidates at surreyunion.org/SurreyDecides. Some of these candidates have submitted a video to share more about themselves, and we'll be hearing those throughout the debate. Without further delay, let's get started with the debate for Wellbeing Officers.
Please welcome to the stage your candidates for the Wellbeing Officer debate.
All right, we're going to start with our preset questions before we get stuck into your manifestos. To the candidates, starting with the candidate on my left. Parker, would you please introduce yourself and why you're running for this role?
Yeah, of course. My name's Parker Tapp. I'm in my first year and I'm doing law. So I'm an advocate for fairness and what's right. I've taken well to uni, but I'm finding that wellbeing facilities are quite lacking and it's very apparent. And for me, wellbeing isn't just about reacting when things go wrong. Even though that's definitely a part of it, it's about building systems that stop students from reaching a crisis point in the first place. I want to improve access to support, create better early help systems. And about me, I feel like I'm outgoing, I feel like I'm authentic and true to myself, bigger martial arts guy, you can tell by the posters, and I think I'd make a good fit for the position.
Thank you. Ron, would you like to go next?
Hey everyone, I'm Ron, first year biochemistry student. I'm honestly really nervous right now. Public speaking isn't my strength, and English isn't my first language. But student well-being matters more than my comfort. That's why I am here tonight. So bear with me when I try to explain why no student should feel invisible, because right now too many are. More than half of the undergraduates need mental health support. And many suffer in silence because asking for help feels stigmatized. And if you don't know services exist or can't access them, they might as well not exist. I'm first year, I don't have institutional experience, and that's my strength. I know what struggling looks like because I have lived it. I have used Surrey Center for Wellbeing myself. I'm not here to take down what works. I want to expand it before crisis reach students. I haven't here long enough to accept that that's just how it is. I want to build a Surrey where support finds you through mood check-ins on My Surrey, helplines on student ID, and late-night safe spaces. Whether you're on campus, commuting, or far from home like me, you deserve a support that reaches you before you're desperate. I'm running because you matter, and it's okay to say I'm not okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll now be hearing from Chris, who has sent us in a video as they were unable to attend tonight's debate.
Hi everyone, I'm Chris, and I'm a second-year psychology student here at Surrey. I just want to start by saying I'm really sorry I can't be with you in person today due to some medical reasons, but I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I'm running for Wellbeing Officer because I don't think well-being should only matter when things go wrong. It should be visible, inclusive, and shaped by student real experiences every day. During my time at Surrey, I've had so many honest conversations with students about well-being, what feels helpful, what feels missing, and what feels hard to access. What I hear again and again is that students want to feel listened to and represented, not just signposted elsewhere. Through my work as course representative and in the support zone, I've seen how powerful it is when students' voices turn into action, and how frustrating it is, of course, when they don't. That's what motivates me to stand for this role. The manifesto goal I believe will be the most important is making well-being genuinely inclusive and visible. Students at Surrey have very different experiences, including LGBT+ students, neurodivergent students, international students, and those who may not typically engage with well-being services. Too often, well-being support feels like it's designed for a typical student who doesn't really exist. I want to help make well-being really relevant, welcoming, and accessible to everyone. That means working closely with well-being champions, union staff, VP support, and the communications team so well-being initiatives are clearly communicated, easy to understand, and actually reach the students they are meant to support. I'm not running because I think I have all the answers. I'm running because I listen, I care, and I follow through. I already work closely with students at the union as my part-time support zone officer role, and I want to use that experience to make sure students' feedback doesn't get collected, it actually leads to change. I believe well-being works best when students feel represented and supported by someone who's approachable and present. If elected, I want students to know that I'll always be available. My email and social media will be open, and I'll always make time to listen. If you want well-being at Surrey to feel inclusive, visible, and truly student-led, I'll be honored to have your vote. Thank you so much for listening, and good luck to everyone.
Amazing. Now we'll move on to our manifesto-based questions. Ron, you aim to provide well-being care packages during exam season. Can you give us a bit more insight into what this might look like and how this is funded?
Absolutely. Let me be specific about what I'm actually offering. This is a pilot program, not university-wide distribution. I target first-year halls during exam period, which are most vulnerable and high impact. Library study spaces during peak exam seasons, and specific high-stress courses like STEM finals or dissertation deadlines. We're talking about reaching maybe 500 to 1,000 students in the pilot with 1 to 2 pounds packages containing herbal tea bags, healthy snacks, printing well-being resources, handwritten notes from well-being champions like you got this. The value isn't in monetary cost, it's the message. The university sees you, you're not alone, we are thinking of you during this stressful time. The value, the pilot works. If we get feedback that students generally appreciated it, I'd use that evidence to advocate for more funding next year to scale it up. But let's be honest, even if it's just a tea bag or a stress ball, that makes one student smile during a difficult exam period. If it reminds them they are supported, that's worth it. Mental health interventions don't need to be expensive to be meaningful. And compared to spending thousands on a single event that 50 people attend, delivering small gestures to hundreds of students actually has better ROI for well-being impact. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. Parker, you want to offer 24/7 emergency appointments for students. What kind of appointments are these, and how do you plan to fund and staff this?
So yeah, at the moment we have our Nightline, and I think that's quite an important thing that we've got. But it often doesn't have enough volunteers. You often get messages on Instagram saying that they're really struggling. So a 24/7 one that actually does work, that isn't volunteer run, would actually be a lot more meaningful. So offering actual monetary rewards for people who are coming on and helping and taking the time out of their evenings to do things like this. I'm straying off a little bit, I do apologise, but 8 to 5 p.m. is when the Centre of Wellbeing is open. So honestly, there's just not that 24/7 at the moment, and obviously we've got a lot more financial incentives for when we're building the gym, which I'm going off a topic again. But we've got a lot of ways to be able to fund this from grants from the university, and just there's a lot of things that are being utilised wrong and a lot of things that aren't being utilised correctly. So it's about diverging the funds from those into this 24/7 emergency services instead.
Perfect, that was insightful.
Thank you.
We'll now hear from Julia, who has sent us in a video as they were unable to attend tonight's debate.
Hi everyone, my name is Julia, and before I start sharing my manifesto points with you all, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has voted for me last year at Surrey Decides as your support zone part-time officer, and it's been an honour to represent you. And this year I am running as your wellbeing officer as part of the support zone. My manifesto covers 3 key areas: accessibility, support and community, because to me, true well-being makes sure every student feels included, supported and able to thrive. With accessibility, I want to help create a centralised portal that brings together all the support services available for disabled and neurodiverse students in a clear and easy accessible place. I will also advocate for more accessible events, ensuring that all students have equal access to talks, activities and opportunities run both by the union and university. And I would like to work towards a more consistent academic accommodations, so support becomes a part of students' everyday life rather than something you have to constantly chase. To cover support, I will work closely with a peer support officer to increase visibility of peer support services. I want to encourage a more inclusive and accessible spaces across campus where every student feels safe and heard. And I aim to enhance career support by promoting transferable skills workshops, CV guidance and interview preparation in collaboration with the careers team. And lastly, community. To me, well-being isn't about the services, it's about belonging. I want to encourage more students to get involved in union events, panels and curator activities that celebrate diversity and bringing people together. Because well-being is about having the opportunity to fit in rather than feeling excluded. So I hope my manifesto resonates with you and you feel that I can represent you. Please vote for me as a support zone officer, and thank you so much. Bye.
Great. We'll now be starting with the role-based questions for each candidate now. We now have over 250 wellbeing champion roles trained and active in our clubs and societies. How would you help support and learn from these students already active in their support of student wellbeing? We'll start with you, Parker.
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing is communication. So obviously we have our VPs who run the major sections, but as a wellbeing officer, I feel like my role is to talk to people and to communicate with other people, and that's where my strengths will lie. So it'll be endless forms, like I talked about on my Instagram, and lots of different, just going out and meeting people in person. I think that's the most important thing is, you can say a lot for a form, and I can type a lot up, but it's actually meeting someone in person. You seeing your like the tone, that's how we're going to get information and learn from people that are in like our law society and our different societies that are that have these champion wellbeing roles. Yeah.
Amazing. Would you like me to repeat that for you?
No, I think I've got this.
Okay, yeah.
So working with wellbeing champions requires providing clear instructions, and that makes them known what their roles are, because they are not therapists. They're just there to signpost and escalate situation if that's required. And one of my key manifesto is tea talk and safe space sessions for students needing support after hours. And I think well-being champions would be, and student volunteers who have completed mental health aid training, which SU already provides, is gonna be a really good implementation of that idea. I also think that we need to make well-being champions more known faces around campus, so clear communication through group chats, emails, channels. Every society has a well-being champion, and we also need to make this well-being champion a permanent post in that society whenever we elect other society members like vice president, president, treasurers. Maybe we need to also support well-being champions more with their training so that they know how to help people properly when they face a difficult situation and what they can do and not do. And that's how we can bring the most out of that system.
Amazing. Just a second. We'll now hear from Chloe, who has sent us in a video as they were unable to attend tonight's debate.
Hello lovely people, my name's Chloe, I'm 19, and again I'm very, very sorry I couldn't be with you in person today, but I hope to make the most out of it through this video to you. Now I'm studying Applied Contemporary Theatre at Guildford School of Acting, the University of Surrey Acting School. Applied Contemporary Theatre is an amalgamation of two types of theatre. Contemporary theatre is the modern day theatre that you see on stage today, and applied theatre is basically using theatre to help people. Now I'm going for this role for the basis of I want to help people live their best lives here, but mostly I want to be able to help as many people overcome stuff that they are going through at university. I want to keep as many people here because we love you all. We want to have you all here, and whether it's through homesickness, isolation, other things, I want to either be able to help you through these situations or at least be able to guide you to people who can help you better than I can. And another reason why I'm going through this role is because I just want to give back to the community. Which of my manifesto goals do I think will be most impactful for students? Now, I definitely want to try and set up one-to-one meetings that students can book via email for certain times. Whether it be to have a conversation about how they're feeling, or even just to have a chat about your day. Speaking to someone who has a smiley face, is interested in what you're having to say, it can just make someone's day. Now, I also want to be able to continue to develop on the current wellbeing services on site, because don't get me wrong, they seem incredible, but I want to make sure that more people attend them, because I feel like not many people are attending certain ones right now, so I want to get more people wanting to. And then finally, I want to set up specific support systems for homesickness and isolation, because it is a massive thing that people are facing at university. Looking at statistics on The Guardian, 43% of students feel isolated in halls. Now that is a massive statistic, and I want to try and bring that down as much as I can at University of Surrey. And the last point is, why should students vote for you? Now, I totally understand everyone's opinions are valued and people may feel different ways. This is just my reasonings. So number one is commitment. If you elect me as your wellbeing officer, I will take you through the journey from start to finish. From that very conversation you have, if you are battling something in your life and you need support, I will guide you through that journey to the point where you feel like you've overcome it, or at least highlight people to you who will be able to help you through something if it's out of my depth. Number two, a friendly face. My course mates describe me as quite a friendly face, which makes me more approachable. I would hope that people can come and talk to me about things. The number 3 is past experience. I was a pastoral coach at my sixth form. I absolutely loved the role, helping young girls from the age of 13 to 18 in a boarding house through different things, from indifferences to homesickness, and hope to be able to translate that into a university setting. I just want to say thank you very, very much for your time.
Great. We'll now continue the next round. Starting off with you, Parker, what would be the benefit of a gym on Stag Hill campus, and where would the funding for this come from?
This is the big one, isn't it? I think we were all expecting this one tonight. So we'll start with funding. So I'm going with a system that I'm going to call the 3 Rs. So refurbish, reform, and refund. So what these mean is we'll start off by refurbishing. So we'll use existing equipment. A lot of people, when I've been talking to people, haven't known that the Duke of Kent have sports facilities and equipment in the bottom that they are using just for sports sciences. And so stuff like that can be easily repurposed, especially stuff over by the marquee as well. We have exercise equipment out by there. For reform, I'm saying that new and improved equipment we could use as well, using grants from the student union. We could also partner with the university as it would be on campus, so that's more money that we can use. And then refund, so making up the remaining costs through membership fees, society support and fundraising events. So hopefully it will kind of go back into itself and make some more. And when you're talking about what does it mean for students, I've always thought that physical and mental well-being go hand in hand. They need to be in tandem, and that's something I want to push. As someone who has struggled with my mental health in the past that I don't really open up a lot about, I often threw myself into physical things to try and cope with it. And I know some people might say that's not very healthy, but a lot of people aren't talkative people. They don't want to talk to people, especially when there's stigma around men's mental health and just mental health in general. Places like gyms and societies and clubs and things like that this new Stag Hill gym would bring is just great for mental health as well as physical health and well-being.
Ron, you say you want to expand reporting and supporting systems for students concerned about friends in crisis. What are the issues with the current systems, and how would you look to improve it?
Well, I believe expanding report and support system involves utilizing existing features more effectively and engaging with the university's continuous improvement initiatives. Currently, the active monitoring for report and support system only operates from Monday to Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., I believe. So there is a really huge gap when students who are like really concerned about their friends, and it's around night because nights are the most isolated students feel. And there could be more initiatives to like fill in the gaps so that more people could support them. To expand on that, I also would like to make the process more transparent, and I'd also like to update the reporter about how their case is progressing, what the university has done about it. Also, gathering feedback from students and how the report and support system helped them or what can be improved is how we can expand and make it more accessible to students.
Brilliant. I would like each candidate to answer this now. Well-being is more than counseling. How can student feedback meaningfully influence the approach the university takes to well-being across the institution? Ron, would you like to go first?
Could you please repeat that?
Yeah, sure. Well-being is more than counseling. How can student feedback meaningfully influence the approach the university takes to well-being across the whole institution?
I'm really glad that you asked that question because according to peer survey, it is believed that first-year students have the belief that they're least likely to change students' unions' voices. And when like people, counseling isn't just about giving mental health advices, it's also about helping people improve. And when students get together and report about something, what helped them and give feedbacks that are like really transparent and great student testimonials speaks 100 words, and it makes really huge impact and it also ensures that the system that is already in place is credible, and it already is supporting student and is something that we should continue doing on. I believe that students should be more involved in the feedback processes, because if we don't get feedbacks through Teams channel, WhatsApp groups, emails, or forums, we wouldn't know where is the room for improvement is and how we could make it more accessible to students so that they are more willing to interact with it and access it.
Yeah, that was well put. Thank you. Parker, would you like to go next?
Yeah, of course. And I love this statement. Mental health is, I totally agree, so much more than just counselling. We should focus, when it comes to well-being, on healthy eating, physical health, and involvement in societies and social events. I agree, especially with what Rohan was saying about it should be student-led, and we should be pushing to hear from students. They shouldn't have to go through a middleman to come to us. Like I was talking about before, with forms and things like that, and lots of different ways that we can find out things. But also, an interesting thing I wanted to bring up is that feedback shouldn't also just be from struggling students. And I think we should try and get feedback from people who feel like that what they're doing is stopping them from leading towards a crisis. What they do to keep themselves healthy, and what they do to keep themselves entertained and things like that. So we want to avoid people getting there in the first place, and so we should focus on things like that as well.
Brilliant. Moving ahead to the next question, Ron, you want to introduce mandatory well-being check-ins using the My Surrey attendance app. How will you enforce this? And what if students do not regularly use this app, or just put a different emoji to what they are actually feeling?
Well, I have expanded it on my manifesto, written plain text. So how this would work is, after entering their attendance code, which My Surrey attendance already uses. So it's gonna build on the existing infrastructure. After entering their attendance code, the student would see a quick pop-up asking how they're feeling. If a student reports feeling low or struggling consistently 5 times over 7 days, it would act as an early warning signs. Their personal tutor would be notified as the first point of contact. And the thing about you said is, if a student just regularly don't use it or avoid it, it's I think that's actually really fine, because this system is designed to catch students who do engage honestly. Even if 70% of students just click through, if 30% use it genuinely, we have just created an early warning sign and a system for thousands of students who might otherwise suffer in silence. And here's the thing, making it optional is the key. Students who do not engage can click prefer not to say, or they can just pick neutral option. But for students who are struggling and want someone to notice, but they're not actively seeking for that help, this gives them a low stakes way to signal that they need help without the barrier of actively seeking support. We don't want 100% engagement for this to save lives. We just need to reach the students who are invisible right now.
That's smart. Parker, you talk about having a greater variety of events. How would you go about deciding on these event types, and how would they benefit student well-being?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So with the creative events, it's all about individuality. I think that's the most important part. And so the way that we're going to put these events forward is by speaking to the community. We'll see what people want to bring up, and we'll see what people. Oh, I'm just going to quickly read the question one more time.
Do you want me to repeat this?
Yeah, if that's okay, just one more time so I know I cover everything.
So you talk about having a greater variety of events. How would you go about deciding on these event types, and how would they benefit the student well-being?
That's exactly what. Sorry, I completely lost my train of thought. But it's about speaking to the community and seeing, because art competitions or creative writing competitions, there's societies that focus inherently on things like that. So getting their funding and getting their support, we could definitely have events like this. And for some of the other policies that I've got as well, the fundraising would go back into them as well.
Perfect. To both the candidates now, how would you support new students facing challenges and adapting to the university life? Ron, would you like to go?
Yeah. So I just want to start by saying that I'm an international student. So as an international student myself, I understand with what isolation feels like, being far from home and navigating unfamiliar systems, feeling disconnected. That's exactly why my manifesto is specifically mentions about connecting Manor Park, Stag Hill, and commuting students through social and support events. My mood indicator system also catches people who are struggling silently. You don't have to be actively seek help. The system proactively checks in on you. No student should have to be desperate enough to seek help. I also want to integrate new social events, and that's like called supporting buddies or like read buddies, so that that alternates between Manor Park campus and Stag Hill campus. So a student from Manor Park campus can interact with Stag Hill students, interact regularly, and they get to know the campus a bit more around, so that there is a larger community that builds support and makes them feel included in the broader picture.
Amazing. Parker, would you like to go next?
Yeah, of course. So I'm also I'm a first year student, and so this has all been quite daunting for me, I must say. But also I know a lot of people who have come from a lot of different places and are literally coming here completely blind. They have no one here that they know, and exactly like Rohan was saying, are going to struggle because they don't have people here that they can connect with straight away. I was very lucky in that I have a really good set of flatmates who are also watching this, hello, and a really nice group of friends who have also come to support me today. But I understand that a lot of people really don't and really do struggle, and so that's why we need to push for these events and social events and things like that. And I think they need to be within the degree themselves, and because I felt like at the start, if we had some sort of law like come and like buddy up system, that would have been really helpful, and I think a lot of people would be behind that. We also should signpost in lectures at the start, telling them about all the different challenges that there are and all the different things that they can use. So about the 24/7 emergency appointments and about all the other things. And greater feedback. I touched on this already, but I wanted to further and go, we should probably stop using emails, because the amount of people that I know who I would ask people in the room to put your hands up if you've checked your email in the last 2 years. But if you're checking your email if you've got a parcel on the way and you're waiting for Amazon to deliver it, let's be honest. So we should branch out to different social means, so Instagram and TikTok and just things that students are actually using, and meet people who are struggling there.
Great. Thank you very much, candidates, for all your answers, for everyone's information. We also have more valid candidates who are Molly, Chris, Chloe, Julia, Omar, Tashu, Zoe, and Ella, who will appear on the ballot when voting opens, but are unable to attend question time tonight. Please be aware of these candidates' campaign and consider them when voting. You can check out all our candidates at surreyunion.org, Surrey Decides. Thank you. That concludes our debate for Wellbeing Officer. As the last debate of the night, it's my pleasure to now pass to your VP voice to close out the night. Thank you. Amazing.
I didn't get to make my points about funding.
Please welcome to the stage your Vice President voice, Luana.
Wanna share my love with a warm-blooded lover. Wanna bring a wild man back home. Gotta have some hot love.
What an incredible night, everyone. Thank you so much to all of our candidates and Chas for the great debates that we witnessed tonight. It's always such an exciting thing to learn more about our candidates and their vision for a students' union. I want to take a moment and say a massive thank you for our debate chairs who have volunteered their time to prepare for the debates, and also thank you to everyone who has been working on our elections, making sure that student democracy is as effective as possible. Thank you all. And also thank you to all of our candidates who have put in so much time and effort into their campaigns, and thank you this huge step towards running in our annual elections. Having been where you are not too long ago,
I understand perfectly the resilience and the dedication that Surrey Decides require. I wish you all the best of luck in your campaigns, and may the odds be ever in your favor. Now, I hope you will join us all for tomorrow night for a second round of the question time debates. Tomorrow from 6 p.m. at Rubik's, we will be interviewing our candidates for sabbatical officer roles. And you can also tune in into the live stream on YouTube. So after question time tomorrow night, voting is going to be open. So finally be time where you can decide who you want to be leading you next year into a new era of student representation. Thank you everyone for being here. Have a good night, and I'll see you tomorrow.
What you thinking? Leave that on record spinning. You'll feel the rhythm going. Legs ain't got time to lay low. Your knees are bending, so it's time to get up and let go. Hey,